other two members can participate remotely. That was a big, how they were doing COVID. And they, changed the law and a lot of the charters. So in theory, they could, because it used to be, you're not here, or you're not, you can't participate. End of story.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if the chair had to stay non-biased in case if the voting gets locked in, tie to tie, then the chairman is the tiebreaker.
He votes. Some places, the chair has 1.5 vote.
Majority,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I seen that in the Robert's.
The only thing here, he cannot make a motion, that's it.
He cannot make a
Oh.
motion.
Okay.
But he just has one vote.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear with on that.
But
Okay.
he can say,
Oh, yeah, you can
he
say.
can say.
You can't
Yeah,
make a motion.
He just can't motion, he can't make the motion.
Because he's, like you said, he's supposed to kind of be
Neutral.
the keeper of the process and impartial.
Okay, got it. All right.
So we're gonna convene.
Take.
Becky, so, are we recorded now?
Yes.
This is the budget meeting first.
Right, we're gonna convene the May 24th, 2023. It's, what time is it?
6:15.
Okay, 6:15, and we're gonna convene the budget workshop. And since our chair and vice chair are not here, Roberto Moreno is gonna serve as the interim chair until and unless they arrive. So we'll call the meeting to order, so we'll do a roll call.
Mr. Treasurer,
Here.
District Attorney,
Here,
Supervisor Moreno,
Here.
Supervisor Santana,
Here.
Supervisor Crisel,
Here.
Mr. Engineer,
here,
myself present. President and Vice President are not here.
yeah, Marta and Santiago are not here. And the next to kick off the meeting is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
We don't need to approve the agenda because there's only one item here. So this, I'm going to ask a question. I would normally have asked this to Betty, but is this, especially for the new member, during the, so by law, we have to develop a tentative budget, and then at the end of August, a final budget. We're on a fiscal year. Our fiscal year begins October 1st. So usually, we have at least 3 budget workshops, sometimes more, during the summer, so that you, the board, can provide the treasurer with direction as to how we want to establish the budget. This is also the opportunity that if you are going to consider an increase of the flat tax, it is going to be part of the discussion, because when our treasurer makes a budget, he has to know how much money he has to play with in the budget. So one of the kind of the threshold issues is, how big is, or how small is that budget going to be? And, I think it's, and we have, the budget is usually 3 areas. We have our flood protection budget. That's operating, maintaining canals, pump stations, things of that nature. Then we have our recreation budget. That's the clubhouse, maintaining that, our leagues and events at the clubhouse. And then we have our roads, which is, a biggie, that we're gonna need to talk about too. And, one thing we've been talking about is that we've spent a lot of money on roads,
$700,000.
700,000, but if you look outside, you'll know what's going to be happening this summer in Florida. I'm thinking that that part of the expenditures is going to slow, maybe dramatically, because in the summer, when it's raining it's raining a lot, and we don't know if we're going to have a wet summer, or we're going to have an average summer, or we're going to have a dry, wet summer. We don't know that, but, you know, usually that kind of work slows down.
That depends.
Yeah, the weather is really the deciding factor.
No, it depends on which kind of material we've been using.
Yeah,
Because if we use the milling, it doesn't matter if you're raining or not.
It's better, if rain.
It is better.
I mean, that's what they told me. When I put the million in my hand, I told them.
okay.
One thing I want to ask you, Mr. Commander, we have 3 supervisors, but Santiago's here. Good, I guess he get it. But if we have 3 supervisors, when we vote, if 2 vote in favor of the motion, that pass?
Yeah, good question, yes. The quorum, so yes.
I already stood.
If they're not here, that's
Okay,
their problem.
I just want
2 votes, you could pass
That's
whatever
majority,
you want.
that's majority, yeah.
Yeah, we're-
Majority,
2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
some places in their charter do
Yeah.
things to stop that, but we don't have, there's no prohibition in the
Yeah, because
statute.
I never been in a situation like that.
Oh, this happened, this happened.
I mean, I've been here.
Yeah,
I have been here before, when we only have 3 supervisors.
yeah, we've had it happen, yeah.
But I never noticed, how the vote went.
We voted on things before. we
I don't, right.
yeah.
I just wanna make sure, okay. But Santiago's here.
Uh, So you just saw him pull in?
Yeah, he's,
Wait a few minutes.
police SUV.
Standing right by the
He's
road.
at the door.
Perfect timing. So we opened the meeting. Mr. Moreno was serving as chair. And so to let the record reflect that Mr. Santiago's here. And so he's now, as a vice chair, going to take over to run the meeting. We did the Pledge of Allegiance, and we were literally about to begin with the agenda and have our treasurer begin with his presentation. So we'll pass the gavel back to Mr. Santiago as the chair. Okay.
You ready? Okay. You have on the inside cover of your book, where I saw it, that it's a 2-column sheet that has our last year's budget on it, and then proposed, first round proposed budget to the right column. And then there's another piece of paper that just shows what dollar revenue is generated by different tax increases, just so the numbers will be understandable. Okay, so, Herminio and Becky and I went over every line item on this on a long phone call. So Herminio provided a lot of these numbers, so just left anyway. So going down, you know, I won't go over every number on here, but if you just look at the revenue part, does everybody have this sheet, with the 2 columns on it? Okay. All right, so the one on the right, as he said, is just our first presentation, and we have up to 3 meetings to make changes to it. So you can see the taxes don't reflect any increase. It's the same last year as this year. Prior year taxes were, people had started kind of getting current, so we're not expecting them to be as much as we expected them last time. This year, Herminio wanted to show the gross golf tournament proceeds, which is about 28,000 is what he's projecting, even though it'll probably be more than that. But then down about a third of the way through the expenses, you see $7,000 of golf tournament expenses. So that's really a net of like 21,000. The interest income is way up, as everybody knows, the rates have been going up. Dirt sales, he cut down to 20,000 because he's not really sure how much more dirt sales we can make out there. So it's working like he should be in on this, but anyway. So the one thing I want to point out is it says capital lease proceeds, 5 trucks, $250,000. That's offset about 2/3 way down in expenses by an outlay of $250,000. That's, he wanted to leave that the same, but I know y'all are continuing to work on a new truck.
Yeah, because we had,
proposal.
the board had approved the purchase of the new vehicles. But every year, different companies like Chevy and Ford, they have government entities that give like a percentage or a cut
Right,
rate,
right.
whatever. So at that current time, Chevy was giving like the best deal,
Right,
but Ford has topped that deal. So it's just a matter of time of our manager executing it
right.
and getting the vehicles, because it was already proposed and put
Ah.
and approved on the budget. But that's really why it was so prolonged.
This actually just nets out because under the presumption that we were gonna do some kind of capital lease or something, so it wasn't. So anyway, so that's a big looking number, but it's netted out at the bottom. So then we get into the expenditures. You know, some of them, like the discounts and commissions, that's what you pay the tax collector. Assessing fees, what you pay the property appraiser. He had just 5,000 on security for the reservoir. So we all know that's a question topic there. So I'm just gonna pick, you know, you put a question mark by that when we move on. Supervisor fees is a known fact. Next one, he needs, you know, he said use 700,000 for the maintenance and rebuilding of the roads. And there's none for paving roads, this is just the dirt. He can comment when he comes back out about that. I'm not, you know, that's not something I'm totally familiar with. He said put $20,000 on the street signs, that's where that came from. Now it's levies. Same. Flies. We worked our way down, I mean, got to the $700,000 on rebuilding the roads. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but maybe involved in there.
Well, I don't think that $700,000 on rebuilding road needs any comments. It actually needs the board opinion if they wanna go ahead and do another 20 miles or they wanna do less.
Trust me,
That's up
Moses.
to you guys.
Whatever,
Yeah,
I
the budget needs to be approved by,
You have to tell them how
Yeah.
much you want.
Was this budget with the tax increase that we first discussed, or this is just where it
this
is now?
is the same as it was in the previous year, which was 325.
Mhm.
So no, this does not include, if we increase the taxes, that'll.
Yeah, because last time,
That offset these figures, right there.
yeah,
So this is not up to date.
Well, no, it's,
No.
nobody's
We
approved
haven't
any
raised the
taxes.
taxes yet.
we agreed last time to raise the taxes.
That's correct, that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Mark.
That's why I'm asking, because the numbers would be totally different. It'll be a different,
These numbers-
fluctuated price.
Correct.
These numbers include the $75 that we did last year.
Mhm.
So this number is not, I mean, if we increase the taxes in July,
Mhm.
that's going to add to our income and reduce our loss. It's not already in there.
Those $75 doesn't reflect it.
The $75 is, you see the very top number, it says 2,584,595, the top revenue number. That already has.
Oh, so you did, okay, I'm understanding now. So this is the same estimated, numbers from last year's increase, not
Revenue.
including this
Right.
increase that is
Right.
supposed to go into effect. Okay.
So this is
Okay, so
like-
we're basically budgeting off of what we already budgeted for last
Yeah,
year,
with
basically
no-
this year.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
what it would be with no increase.
So it's a deficit budget then.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
But let me ask you, Mr. Board,
yes.
those $75, they already were approved, and they are being collected from the properties of Motura from last year.
well, yeah, that $75 increase that we approved last year, but the increase that we discussed briefly with him to see how can we, sorry, bear with me, I don't like that chair. Thank you guys. The $75 that we discussed this year to increase again, that's what the majority of the board was asking.
Yeah, that
Would
would,
it
that
be
would
in here?
not, that's what this second sheet shows. If we were to raise it $75 again, that would increase the revenue by $596,000, which would put us
For
at a slight
$80,000.
positive.
$596,000.
That-
Yeah, so that's what this second sheet shows. You can just say, how much you're gonna raise it, and that's how much money it increases your bottom line by. So $75 increases the bottom line by $596,000, which is not in here yet.
I understand that.
And that's if no items are added or no
No
big
changes,
purchases or no
yeah.
changes are, yeah.
Right.
And I want the board to know that, next year, our, 6110, it will be out of payment, and the 26120 will be out.
So
How much is
also
that?
drop off,
I've already got that factored in.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You can see that the John Deere payments go way down from 66,000 to 33,000
Okay.
for the whole year, and then that'll be the end of those.
That will be the last payment, that's it.
So we went over each one of those debt items.
So that would be added also into the, okay.
And keep in mind, it seems like if you're adding $75 to it, that you're gonna do that every time or something. But that's not, if the budget, if this budget, is reasonably accurate, and that's what we can live on, we won't need to raise it to 75 the following year.
Yeah,
This
of course.
75 will still be in it.
Yeah, of course. But the other thing that, looking at the budget, we also have to keep in mind a lot of the big ticket items that have been started, but haven't been completed. And it's not like the levy where we pulled out a 1 point whatever loan and we're still
Right.
paying on it.
Right.
So we don't wanna get ourselves into loans
Right.
where we're just paying loans, but at the same time, we have to find that general spot that helps us keep moving forward, but it also helps us improve Montour as a whole. And it's not killing our citizens in the work as well.
Can I ask you a question? So, spent 700,000, we're only two-thirds of the way through. They still have to decide, and we're 600,000 in the red. Now, you still have another third of the fiscal year to go.
That's gonna be
Are you
right.
gonna be $1 million in the hole.
If we continue in the direction that we're in.
So that's, keep in mind, you have two decisions. One is, what is the road spending gonna be from now to the end of the fiscal year? September 30th. And then, the next one is, what
Which
are you
I'm
gonna do?
keeping that really minimum, I'm just doing repairs. Like filling up potholes and stuff like that. I haven't done a brand new road in a long time.
The second one is gonna be, because these deficits are being paid for, money that's in the bank, when is our audit?
It's the next meeting.
So he's gonna flag it. and
Yeah.
He's gonna say, what are you guys doing? This is not sustainable. Just like in our personal lives, I'm spending more money than I have in my bank account. I'm heading to hit a ball. And he always, I know that in the past, the auditor has said if you have to, or you need to keep a certain amount of money in the bank.
Yeah, we have to have, we do, we have to have.
What is
They
that?
have, there's several reserve amounts here. In fact, it's, if you're in the treasury report on page 4, you can see. We can do a little bit of that now. Like the treasury report. Go to what it says, page 3 and 4, which is our balance sheet, in the treasury. In the book, it's not loose, it's the treasury report.
Yeah, right, yeah, I'm,
Okay. So you see all the cash we've got there.
So it says, it's this one here, so it's got like written
1.6.
3 on the bottom.
Yeah. So we've got $1,785,000 in cash. Sitting inside. But if you turn the page, you'll see what the auditor, what we have set up. Look down at fund balance. So fund balance is basically what our equity is. The non-spendable just means that's already been spent, that's prepaid insurance, that's not cash. So start with $2,289, that's just what's in the debt service account. So really the bottom 4 numbers are what's key. They have us reserving $250,000 for disaster reserve. Don't know that that's mandatory. That's what we have us do, and then talk about it and showing that each year. It seems like maybe that may be a little too high, the insurance and everything and all that. It might not be quite that high, that's what it is. The debt service for equipment payments is supposed to reserve yearly payments. And then the big one is $612,000. That's 3 months of operating expenses. Say it goes below 3 months of operating expenses. But that is money that's in the bank. So following that along, the $773,000, that's the only amount of our equity that's not being reserved. Not necessarily by law, but by the accounting principles. You can see that even though we have quite a bit of money, it's not all.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah.
So it's really not money, it just needs to sit there.
So if nothing was done, no increase in taxes, and the district spends the exact same amount of money it did in this fiscal year, that number would be zero.
Majority of that, it'd be a good majority of that 773. Now, keep in mind though, this does have the loss for the first 5 years, 5 months. So this is, I think it's 5 months, yeah. It's through April. Okay. So there is part of the loss already in here. This is through April 30th. But still, the overriding concept is it's not gonna last, through a couple of years.
Let me ask you a question. The 23 budget, going back to the salary, wages, and taxes, 967, how much have you spent so far, all the way to April 30th?
I got that number here. It's in the report that's in the treasury report. Maybe we should see let's go to page 6. of the
Okay,
treasury
I'm there now.
report. That's the expenditures, it shows a lot of detail there about, and that's the main sheet we use generate the budget. Um,
So does this mean, as of now, we're 400,000 over budget?
Correct, for expenditures, we are. See, that's the thing, even though,
Yeah, because we did do a lot of big purchases within the last 3 years.
okay, so now I got it.
And that's one of the things that I don't, that we need to understand is that, you know, we have a budget for a reason, and it's like, we have 200,000, we don't spend 250. Because then what ends up happening, and this is the thing that I've seen, you know, it's been going on for many years, is that spend, and then whenever the board ends up in a bind, then it's like, okay, then we end up with this sheet that we have here with what are we gonna tax the community. And I understand that we might be a little bit behind, but one of the biggest things that we need to really focus on is a lot of cutting back on things that we really don't need. And I think we could help this budget a lot before we even consider thinking about raising taxes. That should be the first thing, that should be our due diligence first, before even thinking about raising taxes. What can we cut back that we don't need? Then we can move on to make up the rest, if that's what it needs to be.
The thing is, that budget is, of expenditures, is sort of dominated by two big things. That's maintenance and road building and the salary and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So,
And that's the thing, I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Self, but with prices increasing every year and us not having the proper equipment that Central County didn't have that they do now, a lot of development and improvements had to be made. And this is what I call the founding years, is where it's restructuring, rebuilding, getting the equipment that they need, and then finding that leveling spot probably in 2 or 3 years where it levels out and the increase can be subtle instead of so just that we have been doing with the last couple years. Because looking at the budget, there can be, I like to say penny pinching, that we can, you know, take certain things away that we already double pay for, like getting rid of the trash. That was one big thing. But also, you know, we can't take away from the butter of Montora either. You know, they need equipment. Salaries is something that's really big here. You know, there's many other things too that we can look at, but a lot of our equipment that we did get is about to start coming off of the budget. That would give us extra funding to use elsewhere.
Yeah, because I know one of the things that I've looked at a lot is through the general government side, is for the overtime wages. And for the general government, there's only 3 employees under general government, which is Edminio, Rosa, and Becca. And the overtime wages for that is $9,209. Then if you look at the roads and water control side, what they're at now within the 7 months is $12,542, and that's 10 employees. So the thing is, Emilio doesn't get overtime. So within the general government, that goes from 3 employees to 2 employees. So now you have Becca and Rosa. So 9,200, more than 3/4 of that goes to 1 employee in overtime. And then if you, like I said, you go back to roads and water control, there's 10 employees and they're at 12,000. That's,
Just wait a little bit until we go through the rainy season.
oh, I know.
Let me,
And that's one of the things that I always spoke about was overtime is how it's being utilized, because we're way over budgeted within our salaries and stuff. And if we don't get a control on that, you know, we're gonna end up in an even bigger problem. And I know that during hurricane season, we need to have overtime, so we have to kind of manage on how we're gonna use this overtime. Because I mean, for 1 employee to take 3/4 to make almost $9,000, and then with 10 other employees make 12, that doesn't make sense. Somebody's getting a hell of a lot of overtime, and we need to manage that some way. Or back off, and something has to happen. This has been going on for way too long, and now look at where we're at.
let me ask you a couple of, please, are you done? I'm sorry.
Yes or no, you
Okay,
got
I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm correct, read this report correctly. As of April 30th, we have spent in just in salary and wages and taxes, 707,342.92, correct?
that's correct.
That's only 7 months.
Mhm.
Based on the budget that from last year, the 967, correct? It's leaving us with 259
Yes.
for the next 5 months.
Right.
If we continue based on this trend, we're gonna be short 245,000
Yeah.
with with what we got.
Salaries.
And salary, it's strictly salary.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how much money have we spent in overtime as of April 30th?
There's a report in here that has it in.
In total is 26,000 for the 7 months.
Okay, where's that at?
I think it's on page 10.
10?
It's a separate page for,
Yeah,
Yeah, but page 10 does have the overtime separated. That's the different components of that personnel expense,
That's 26,000 in 7 months?
the overtime.
In 7 months?
Yep.
Okay, so really looking at the overtime, and yes, I agree with Chris to control the overtime, that is penny versus what we need to, to fulfill the budget.
Yeah.
So even if we take those $26,000 out, let's say we don't pay any overtime, we're still short 220,000 to complete the fiscal year. So the point I'm trying to get across is, don't matter how much you cut in expensive, to make this amount, okay, is ridiculous. You have to shut down the whole place and spend no money at all.
sure.
What I'm getting to is, we need to increase the taxes, no doubt about it. No way around it. It's two is four. You cannot, lie to yourself. So don't matter how much money we try or we go to save, to put down to save, that is penny. So we need to really concentrate the effort of the whole board is on taxes. I know it sounds very harsh for the community, but guess what? If you look around the area and I drive around a lot, I see a for sale sign at least once or twice, new one going up. That means people who bought property 5, 10 years ago, now they're gonna make bucks because it's going up. So we need to wake up and realize this place is booming. We're going someplace. So we need to look at that on the long run, that numbers don't lie. We need to concentrate on that.
Yeah, 'cause the thing is that it's like everything. As stuff comes up back in 2007, I remember whenever Montour was booming the same way, and whenever it crashed, nobody wanted to pay taxes. Nobody wanted to pay. Even though the tax did go off to auctions and stuff, but there was a lot of them. Hendry County wanted to give us the properties. They wanted us to pay the taxes.
That's not many right now
And we-
on Henry County.
And we told them no. But the thing is that stuff's gonna get worse, and a lot of people are selling because they just can't. Sometimes your Central County non-ad valorem tax is higher than what you're gonna pay Hendry County, and a lot of people don't want to pay that.
What I noticed, and I did my research, most of the people are selling right now, they bought their unit 10, 15, 20 years ago, when they paid what, $3,000, $4,000, maybe $10,000.
Yeah.
Now they're going for 40, 50, 60, 100,000. So they're making a lot of money without really being here, really, not living in the community where everything, get deteriorated.
Yeah.
And we are living here, we need to suffer all that. And, we need to concentrate, put the effort of this board here to move forward. I understand, we want to cut expensive, let's cut it. Let's cut all the overtime and whatever else, but we need to concentrate in pushing for the taxes.
Right. Because the thing is, we always end up at this point because I've been coming to these meetings for many years, and I've never seen anything ever get cut. And that's why whenever I look at this, it's always like, let's raise the taxes, we'll worry about cutting the other stuff later, but they never do. And then the next time it's the same thing over and over and over. So somewhere is that some of that stuff's gonna have to get cut, and if we don't do it now, it's gonna get
I agree
overlooked
with
when we
you.
get into other stuff.
I don't disagree with you, I agree with you.
Let me ask this question. So has Central County's taxes that we require from our citizen has ever been more than Hendry County's taxes that they charge?
They're not, or they're ad valorem tax? I'm not sure.
Okay.
You have the answer?
No,
Depends
that's
on,
Well, it would
you own,
depend, if you have a house on it, that's never gonna happen. If it's vacant land, I guess in theory,
Yeah.
but I doubt it. I'm surprised to hear that because if the land values have really gone up the way they have, that means the Hendry County taxes have gone up
Yeah,
a lot.
they were discussing that. In LaBelle, they skyrocketed the land taxes extremely high, and then in Clewiston they did the same thing, and they're doing it here to Montour residents as well. But that leaves us because we don't get any of that other taxes like everybody else. We only get a fair rate.
464.
So that was when you look at it in that perspective, they're gonna increase it every year. Whichever way we look at it, by $20, $30, it's gonna increase until it reaches a cap, just like Clewiston. But for us, we haven't increased in 20-something years. In 2020, that was the first time we increased. But the way we are increasing it, yes, it may be at a big lump sum every time, but eventually we're gonna get to the point where we wouldn't need to do that, and we can increase it every year by $5, to keep up with, inflation. But then when it does come to the point where, hey, Montura is it has all the equipment it needs, it has all the personnel, the salary is not changed, everyone's at what I call the threshold, then that's when we can come back and say, okay, now we need to start cutting corners, saving money, because we already made it. But I'm with you as well, and I'm with you as well, Chris.
I want to mention something.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moreno stated there is a lot of for sale signs here. I've been coming to Honduras since 1979. I lived 4 years here from 1996 to 2000. And I have seen a lot of signs, for sale signs, in the properties in Honduras all the time. They buy this one. But there is a lot of more people coming into Montura that people sell it. I mean, every time I go by any road here, I see places being fixed, that they're putting new mobile homes and they're building houses. I'm surprised the amount of people that are coming into Montura right now. Mr. Emilio, can I state that? Mr. Emilio, how many permits they are requesting for to do the
We have anything between 25 to 30 every month.
every month to do the?
It's good.
So that means that there is a lot more people coming into.
Awesome.
Into
That's what we need, more people.
And another thing I want to mention, Mr. Self, you stated talking about the taxes, and you're right. There is a lot of money in taxes. By Mr. Emilio, why are we using that much amount of money for the overtime?
There's a lot of different reasons. The main two reasons is one, event, and two, rainy season.
So that's a need. My point is, that's a need that we have to do the job that we're doing.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, the events at the clubhouse, when I was the manager at the clubhouse, the only event that was there was the Halloween party. That's it. There was nothing else. After that, we start doing the Christmas party, we start doing the Valentine and stuff like that. 4 or 5 years ago, the board that was at that moment asked me to put at least 2 events a month, and they asked me for event calendar and all that stuff. And that's it. That was it. So we have 20-something events through the year.
So we're doing a lot of overtimes in those events.
Yes. Basketball tournaments, they're all on the weekend, so whoever works there.
But that's something that we're providing to the community. That's something that we're providing to the children of Honduras.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, but one of the things today I spoke with Becca, because I know that I noticed on one of her checks for the Easter event that she got 40 hours of overtime on top of her 40, so she had 80 hours.
Right.
And she did 40 hours of overtime, and I asked her what was it that she did. She said that she was cooking and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right.
And it came out to like $2,000 something. I thought it was a typo, and it wasn't.
Right.
And that's a lot of overtime, and I understand that certain things have to be done to get certain events going on.
Right.
But it's like whenever you see stuff like that, you gotta worry about it. It's the same thing like I asked for, on dailies. Because she said, well, I had to go over here and get this, I had to go over here and get that, I had to do. So when I said, okay, do you have this on a daily? Where did you do these 40 hours? Oh no, I just put that I cooked. It's not, to me, like I told me personally,
Right.
I don't see no sense in that. It's like it has to be more defined on what you're doing, because if we ask, what are you doing? And they say, well, on the overtime I just write down cooked or Easter event. That's not. It don't make sense to me.
Well, the thing
It might not, but if you were to ask me on Friday when you came by, I would explain everything to you.
Yeah. Well, we're in a public meeting now. it'd be good to have this type of stuff on the record. It's the same thing, like another thing that I don't know if the board members are familiar with, is that at the end of the year, you can cash out your time.
Exactly, yes.
Right, so whatever you have time accumulated, you can cash out, you know, and, for like, Emilio, you cashed out 17,186.
In total, yes.
Yes, in total, you know, and I don't think that that's stuff that,
That's beside the salary.
so whatever time they have accumulated, at the end of the year, they get to sell it.
Then you're talking about annual leave.
Yes.
Yeah, so you get annual leave every, I don't know how much you get. Let's say you get 4 weeks. In theory, if you don't use those 4 weeks, during the year, you can get paid
Yep.
those 4 weeks.
Right, and so then that goes back to my point with overtime. If overtime is generated, you accumulate more personal time with that. So then at the end of the year, you end up with a pretty,
The overtime has nothing to do with the accumulation.
it does not accumulate no time at all.
No, sir.
Nothing over 40?
You can't, the only thing you can, there's 2 things that can be accumulated. This is for most companies and governments. Sick leave
Yep.
and annual leave. Annual leave, every company that I know of, because you own it, you can cash it out. Then some places have policies on sick leave, where they say, and I don't know what the exact policy is here, but you can only cash out 30%
Yeah.
of it, because they want you to take sick leave.
Right, to not
So just in case.
Right.
yeah. But if you
It's
do,
pretty common.
but if you do
cash out.
your 40 normal hours, and then you work another 40 extra hours, you don't accumulate no type of time for that?
No, you
No.
cannot cash out overtime.
Well, let me tell you,
No, no,
because
we don't
Because it
cash
gets
out.
paid to you,
Hmm?
because it gets paid.
No, no,
when I used to work,
You're thinking of comp time, maybe?
maybe, yeah, comp time.
Comp time is, there's no comp time here, is there? Yeah, when I was at the district,
Uh-huh.
that was a game that was played. Those
Yeah, because the more time you do, you accumulate more time.
Comp time, and so you would use your comp time instead of your vacation.
Mhm.
But they don't have comp time.
So,
So there was no overtime.
So-
We didn't have overtime at the district, we had comp time. So if I worked like 10 hours over, I have 10 hours, I can either take it off the next pay period, you know, and what people would do is they would use up their comp time for vacation and never touch their vacation, and they would cash it out that way. You know.
Yeah, there's something we'd have to talk about, is certain caps, because, I mean, there's a lot of money, like, the same thing like I said before, you know, it's never to take anything away from the employees, but we can't go broke either.
May I just,
We've run
because I
already.
think there's a misunderstanding, so let's talk about annual leave.
Yeah.
You're going to pay, and that, whatever he cashed out, you're gonna pay, you're always gonna pay it. You can pay it if he goes to the Bahamas for 4 weeks. You're gonna pay him his salary. So, in either case, you're paying that money, you're not saving it.
But we put a cap on it, where you could only accumulate 160 hours, and then you have to take time off.
If you want to, but you're gonna, then he takes that time off, and you're gonna keep paying him. You know what I'm saying, comp time, annual leave, you,
so I'm gonna leave his sick.
if you don't want, you have to reduce the amount of leave you give them, but you can't, you're still gonna pay it. Either you can pay
One way or
him
the
when
other,
he's on
you
the beach, or you can pay him at the end of the year if he works the whole time, but that number, it's still coming out of the bank account, either scenario.
So
So
have
we
we
do
made
one-
a decision, hold on, have we made a decision on the employee salary for our budget workshop in Denver?
We're going to talk about that. May I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
This is a big issue. So what some agencies do is allow you to carry your annual leave from 1 year to the next.
That's what I want to say.
I was at the district 15 years. I left with a huge check. Now, what agencies are doing now is saying no. And as you get promoted, that money grows because your salary, so that used to be a sweet little government thing. So most agencies make you cash out at that time because they're not carrying that on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
We have 3,000 employees. It was a millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And now, they say, no, it's use it or lose it.
Yeah, because our sick leave at our job, it's unlimited, you just keep building it up, but then your personal time it's a cap of 160s, 4 weeks. So mostly you can accumulate. Then once you do that, anything over 160 hours, you lose it. So it kind of makes you kind of take your time.
So where the tribe doesn't let you cash out your unused annual leave, so you
No.
have to take it.
There's really no place that, there's very few
County
places
doesn't
that actually
either.
do
If I
it.
can add, out my job, which I work for Hendrick County Public Works, we are not allowed to cash it. We have to take our time when we use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the good benefits of working
That's
here.
what I was
Believe
gonna
it or
say,
not,
I used to work
is able to cash
in the
it out.
Department of Correction, the same thing.
Understand.
Either we get
My
the,
thought was, he's getting that money.
sick leave,
He's either getting it when he's on this couch, taking the 4 weeks off, or he's getting it, he doesn't take the 4 weeks off, and he's getting it in a check. That's a revenue zero. It doesn't, we're not being hurt or helped. That money's always gonna go where it's going.
Thank you,
Can
Janice.
I explain to him how it works?
We'll come back to it because we
Yeah.
haven't even went through the pool room on the budget workshop agenda.
Yes.
So have we decided on employee salaries? Any questions, concerns, or we're gonna move forward with that? Board member Self?
I guess that was already taken care of, salaries,
Yes, sir.
so, I don't know. The
Anyone
only-
else?
So is that something that's gonna be reflected in the budget then? You
Yes.
Did something with salaries?
Yeah, there's only one thing that I want to say about that.
Go ahead.
Is that, I know I called the secretary about putting it onto the agenda, because I know as a board, we all spoke about it, and then I didn't see it on the agenda, and I was expressing myself to the secretary that inside the office, they cannot just take something off the agenda that we were supposed to speak about.
The salary was never on the agenda, it was put up for a workshop,
Yes.
not for the agenda.
And we're supposed to talk
However-
about it.
However, before we start the regular meeting, you can amend the agenda and you can add it on.
Okay.
But,
Go.
yeah, but I know that it was something that we voted on to speak about.
No, you guys table it for a workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, yeah, right. So I think-
no,
Was
excuse
it
me,
for this,
no.
it was for
No,
this
but
meeting?
yourself is right, Mr. Moreno says, let's discuss it in the next meeting.
And there was.
In the next
again,
meeting.
My recollection isn't perfect, but I thought everyone agreed. And let's put it on the workshop agenda.
Mr. Moreno says.
Yeah, to see if
Let's
the
discuss
prices
it on the next meeting.
were fair or right to take it
Yeah.
to the national standard, because some
Right.
people may get more than what he
That's what's on
offers,
the agenda.
or some people may get lower than what they
Yeah.
It's
request.
in the end?
Because the only thing, because one of the
It's in
things,
the end.
No, it's
In
on
the
the
workshop
workshop
minutes.
agenda,
Yeah.
not the meeting agenda.
But like I say, however,
So we
you guys
need it-
can amend
Yeah,
it.
so
and
we
then
need
add
it.
it on.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
a decision.
But one thing I wanna mention is, you give an increase to all the employees, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
So you take care of that, right?
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so every board member,
I'm very.
any comments? Okay, can I have a motion to approve of the employee salary?
We can do that, no.
Not right now, you have to wait for the regular meeting.
Okay, let's move over to the pool room. Any board member that have, who's bringing that up?
Do what?
The pool room, I don't have who's discussing
The
it.
pool room is the only thing that is a major deal on the clubhouse.
Okay.
So we're not going to work on it this year. We already put it for the next year under,
Are those equipment or what are those?
we put it for, do we put it on capital outlet, Mr. Boyd? But for the clubhouse?
So what I was just gonna say, is you see where I had her type in, clubhouse without the air conditioner. See the huge, remember, that's not answering that question directly, but it's, see where it's $80,000. You said, you know, if anybody's still talking about air conditioning, that's not in here, that's another 100,000. How much more is that?
So-
What's the pool?
So last year, on that line item was $250,000. It was $100,000 for the lift station, and it was 120 something thousand for the AC, for the clubhouse. They've been talking about it for, I don't know. And $50,000 if I don't mistake, or $40,000 for the pool room. So what we did is we took out the lift station and we left behind the AC. If you guys want to keep it there, if you guys don't want to keep it there, you can take it out.
Those are the $80,000.
And the pool room.
Well, the air conditioner would be an add-on to the 80, that, the 80,000 is without the air conditioner.
Right.
That's what I
But
think.
didn't the board at that time approve for the improvements to the clubhouse with the doors and the AC, but just not at that current moment because of the projects that
No.
we were dealing with?
No, it was never really approved. It was approved for
It was in a
Mr.
limbo.
No, it was approved for Mr. Bennett to get a AC engineer
Oh,
to do the study on it, and then after that,
we get a price.
yes.
Okay.
Well, it was never approved to keep going with the price and all that stuff.
Is the pool not being worked on this time, going to react with the summer camp or the use of the pool, or no?
No,
Okay.
no. I would just keep doing what I've been doing for 10 years, and we can go back into it in October. So when we pay it, it will be for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
Do we have-
I mean, you have to tell him, we want to do it, so that he can put it in the budget for
Well, I
next
think
year.
we're gonna discuss that, of what we wanna do, and then,
Right, that's why I said, it's up to you guys, if you wanna bring it on to leave it there, or you wanna take it out. The AC and the pool room.
Do we have I'm sorry.
That's why I specifically typed there without AC, so everybody knows. You see, Campbell Outlay Clubhouse without the AC would be like 80,000 for the other stuff. And if you wanna add the AC, 120,000.
yeah, let's not take a step back, let's,
Let me ask you a minute question. Do you have a
Estimate for it?
a scope of work of what needs to be done on the pool room and the AC?
The scope of work for the AC was never really,
Is it a change out? Is it a change out?
by the board. The pool room, me and Mr. Bennett look into different estimates. We have two of them, and one of them we discussed it with the board, and it was $28,000, no, $18,000? Or $20,000?
Can't remember now, it's more than pretty, low bid, I think,
Right, yes.
yeah.
So we come out with two.
So for the pool room, you need $30,000. That's it.
Yes.
Bring it up to just to do a repair, or to bring it up to,
Repair,
It was a repair.
yes.
okay.
It was a repair.
What does that entail? New pump, new filters, or?
No. When we're talking about the pool room, it's the actual structure of the pool room.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the pump or anything like
Okay,
that.
so, and how about the AC? Is it a change out, or is it an increase of,
no, the AC, okay, so the reason the AC was expensive was because we can't just put AC in the clubhouse, you have to put the air ducts, and you have to close in the whole AC with state-of-the-art, sliding doors. Because the wooden doors that we have now,
it won't hold up?
they won't hold the air. So we then thought about closing in half of the clubhouse. That was extremely out of the budget. It was a waste of money. I thought we did approve, but I was wrong. They corrected me. We were gonna close in the clubhouse with the new doors and then AC the whole structure. But then we had a problem with the pool, so then we geared over towards the pool because for the summer camp.
That was last year.
Yeah, and a lot of the community members really love the pool, so they deal with the clubhouse how it is now. So we're like, let's gear towards getting the pool operable and getting it to where it needs to be, so we don't have that problem.
Yeah, one of the other things to consider is the upkeep, because buying it, putting it in is just part of the problem, but then whenever it goes out, you know, the electricity and stuff, and I know one of the things that they consider is putting kind of like a drop ceiling like this, because if not, you'd have to
Yeah.
cool the whole thing. And then once you do that, it takes away from the clubhouse. Once you put a drop ceiling in there, the clubhouse ain't the clubhouse no more. And it really takes a lot away from it. And the AC is, I mean, it would be nice,
But
Expensive.
it just
we have no money
Yeah.
to be putting AC in anything right
it
now.
wasn't.
I do agree 100% with Mr. Sal. I would love to see that clubhouse the way it is. The way it is,
Do we have ceiling fans in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, the big one or the little ones? I haven't noticed it.
We-
62 inch.
They're medium size, but we have 8 of them.
72 inches or 52?
They're 54, if I'm not mistaken.
Be a good idea to think about going to 62 or 74, that would move more air, but that's an idea.
If I may interject, so I'm gonna talk a little bit later about bringing on a grant company that specializes in federal grants.
Mhm.
And again, you know, we have to start chasing money that's out there. It's out there. But we need a professional that knows. I'm gonna present to you a company that I interviewed that all they do is federal grants. Because we check all those boxes. It's a 55-year-old building. To put a lot of money, truthfully, I'd like to chase a grant for a new, but we sell it not as a rec building, but as a hurricane resistant building. Do you know how much FEMA money has been poured? How many cities got new fancy EOCs? You know, there's no, you know, for the residents, if there was a problem, something that has a generator, that's hurricane, that's where you put your money, not,
Yeah.
this is
Henry
an old
proposed
building,
that.
it served a great purpose, but the clock is ticking on the life of that building.
I think because Henry
agree.
County proposed that years back on building a hurricane shelter, but it all falls back down to, at the end, who has to pay for the upkeep? Because then we have to create a budget for that. And
Well, yeah, but if it was just a hurricane, that's a hard pill to
Yeah.
swallow. But if it's a rec center that is a
Yeah.
hardened structure, that's an easier sell.
then the strings attached to that, those, I know whatever they proposed was a great idea, but once they went through, you know, the devil's in the details, and once they went through everything, it wasn't worth it for the community. The community pays so much at the end that we
Yeah,
would be
Yeah.
more broke
Forever.
today.
and that's forever.
And then we wouldn't have like, yeah, I remember that. I was reading that too, that you wouldn't have ownership over it, and then there are certain people in
Yeah,
charge.
we lose rights
Yeah.
over stuff that's ours, and there's no reason to give up that, right?
Okay, so all the board are, everyone's good with the pool? We're gonna continue with the pool. So for that, do we have any public comments? No, we don't. Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn, May 24, 2023 at 6 o'clock PM, budget workshop meeting agenda?
Second.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, let's take a 5-minute recess before we start our
Let me
next
say one
meeting.
thing that's, just as far as the timing deal, the raising of the taxes, at the next meeting, we're supposed to do a proposed, you know, property rate. Okay, but the property appraiser lets us go another month and amend it. So we've got, supposedly by the next meeting, we would adopt the rate. But
Okay.
if we changed, which we did do the last time, we changed it before the August meeting.
I think
Yes,
we
it's
can,
called tentative for that
So we have to-
very reason.
So we have to propose a tentative increase right now, or?
No, but at the next.
Next meeting, we have to have it.
So-
Tentative increase that you can change.
Rosa,
Yes.
you know, one thing, make a note, for the next regular meeting agenda, we have to have an item to vote on a tentative budget and potential maintenance tax increase.
Right.
That has, we have to stay in that timeline.
if
John
you'd like
Boyd
to
is
make a
right.
public comment, the form's up there, you can fill it out. We're having our recess before we start our regular monthly meeting.
Well, what I'm gonna say is actually, part of the agenda, I think, is for, so I live on Sheepman, back there, and then there's, so, you want me to say it here?
Well, just write it down and we'll call you.
It's gonna be on the,
Yeah.
Okay.
he's gonna talk on the regular meeting, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so it's adjourned now, just so that Rosa knows to
Yes.
stop, okay.
Ready? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. Today is May 24th, 2023. We're going to be opening our regular meeting. We already did roll call and pledge of allegiance. Can I have a motion to open today's meeting?
Aye.
Motion made by Santana. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris Self, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions of the agenda? I think we did have an addition. Chris, do you want to add something? So we had none? We continue, correct? Okay. Adoptions of the agenda? No. Okay, and we had our regular meeting. Okay.
We have to
Approval.
call-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And can I get an approval for the regular and budget board meeting for April 26, 2023?
Aye.
And can I get a second?
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, public comments. If you'd like to come up.
Thank you. Okay, so, good evening, everyone. My name is Ronald Montesino. The reason why I'm here, around a month and a half ago, I purchased, my property in Ventura Ranch. I've been wanting to be a owner for a while, so it took a while to save. I finally got, a lot, near Sheepman, bordering the canal. In the process of buying the land, the first thing that I made sure is that there was no easement in the back. And my title company confirmed that. Then I did the survey. The surveyor confirmed that. There's something that appears to be like a road back there. And one of the problems that I'm having is a lot of people from Ventura Ranch are going back there, throwing garbage on my land, just doing a lot of illegal activity. And I have been very, nice. Some people have gone on the land and I have told them, sir, this is private property, please leave. So I've been extremely nice about it. I would like to fence my property all the way to the end. I spoke to Mr. Bennett and he agreed as well. There's no easement back there. I spoke to Hendry County. So everyone seems to be on board that there's no real easement back there. And I would like to pretty much just fence it all the way back there so I could avoid all the problems, because at the end of the day, when the people are throwing stuff back there, it's already affecting me. I'm a high school science teacher. I have spent like 5 years saving the money, to buy this land. And I spent almost $5,000 cleaning the entire thing to have people come and throw, a whole bunch of things on my property and vandalize it, because I don't think it's fair to me. And if everyone is on board, I would honestly like to fence it. I think it's the best thing.
So you guys have an idea on what he's talking about. We've been in communication, we call Mr. Bennett for it. I don't know if all of you guys been back there. You go to Hunting Club all the way to the end. Chris Elk knows exactly where it
Yeah,
is.
you had it surveyed?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I seen the survey marks out there, yeah.
Yeah, so you go all the way back to Hunting Club where pump 1 and 2 is, and you make a right. So from Hunting Club to canal number 2, supposedly there's a canal bank that we've been using, or everybody's been using. In the plats, in reality, it's not an
Right,
easement.
belong to him.
Huh?
Belong to him.
It belongs to me.
It belongs to, not only him, every single property
Every
on
lot there.
that road.
But it belongs to you all the way from Hunting Club to Perimeter?
No. So he bought on Shetland. So he's talking about the back side of his property.
Now, with that being said, do we use that easement to clean?
There's no easement though. It's
No,
just-
I understand that. Do we use it? Does Central County Water Control District use it?
We don't really use it to clean, however, He's right about what he's saying, that's always been a dumping site back there. We, just to keep him from all that trouble, we can, this is up to the board, but we can always use the bank of the levy if we need to clean or whatever.
So,
You know.
okay, so my question was, does Central County use it in any way
Well,
possible?
No, I'll go through there from every time I go and check pump number 1 and 2, I turn there just to.
One thing I wanna mention is that really,
Yes.
it's, me as a volunteer with the sheriff office, I have seen the, Henry County deputies going back there, using the canal side to go from Hunter Club to whatever they're doing back there, because they have been illegal activities back there, and they caught a few people that were doing illegal activities back there, and they use the road, their road they're talking about is next to the canal. So they use it in order to go from Hunting Club to the people that were close to perimeter, and they apprehended that they are all.
No, so, okay, so all of you guys are on board. That canal bank,
he owns it.
Right.
yes,
And if he owns
He
it,
does.
he
So this
doesn't
is
have to
like
ask
pretty
permission
clear.
from
Yeah,
anybody.
that's what I'm saying. Why
If you own the
He can
property,
go
it's
through-
yours,
Yeah.
fence it in.
Yeah, the
No,
thing
no,
that,
no,
the
no.
thing that he's coming here is because Central County, if this is why I kept asking that question. If Central County utilizes it for anything, within our legal parameters, we can take it from them. So, the reason I was asking
he's
our
not talking
manager
about the
is,
property, he's talking about
yeah,
the 20 feet.
I was asking,
That's what I'm fighting
I was
for.
I was asking our manager, because if our manager says yes, that Central County uses it to clean the canal and that it's a must, then we have to go through a legal thing of obtaining and putting an easement there. But our district manager has advised us that they don't use it, that there's really no use to the district. So in that sense, there's really nothing.
Really, what you need to do, I'm sorry, is just go and put your permit for your fence it in, and we're done.
No, but one thing I want to repeat myself again. That, I am not against you fencing your property, don't get me wrong. But the 20 feet back there, maybe it needs to be used for emergency entrance.
Well, so at the, let me see.
They said,
So that canal bank
On
does
the other
not
end of
go
Central Counties.
all the way to
And-
Where
perimeter.
you're at,
It's
that's
a free
yours.
space, and so the other side of me, this is what I think. I think that taxpayer land should be respected highly, and easements should be used only in an emergency case.
that's what I'm saying.
So if the other side could be utilized, why penalize like my side? Like, there's really no incentive if the other side.
Excuse me, what do you mean the other side? What is the other
Side of
side?
the
The
canal.
levy.
Okay, so what I was explaining on the beginning.
So we're talking about, let me ask you again. We're talking about, we go all the way down by Hunting Club, and go to the canal.
Yep.
We make it right.
Right,
And that road back there goes all the way
no,
to perimeter.
no,
It's just a small road.
no.
Yeah.
The only reason,
I've been to that road.
no.
I've been with my patrol car, excuse me, with me.
Yeah.
I've been with my patrol car
I
have
have
going-
that corner. It's there.
all the way down there to the end.
Mr. Santana.
Look, this is, I'm gonna show you a demonstration.
Well, he's
So
doing
this is
that.
Bald Cypress,
Right.
this is the canal,
If
and
there's
this
no
is
easement,
Shitland, and this is his
You can
property.
build it tomorrow.
He wants to
and we need no
fence this
permission from
in,
you.
right
I know,
here.
I was trying to be a law-abiding citizen,
Yeah,
be
no,
good,
that's-
because
This
I
is
want
not
my
ours.
tourists to grow, but I also
That's what I'm
wanna be,
saying.
flexible with you guys, that's why I did it,
Yeah.
because technically I could have done that,
Yeah.
but I'm
It's
coming
not-
here up
it's
front,
not supposed to be.
And we
there.
appreciate
I
it.
think-
We appreciate it.
This was like a 3-hour drive for me, basically,
Yeah.
to get here, and now I have to go back, so.
And meeting.
And by you putting a fence, you're gonna help a lot because people go through there, they shoot there all the time and they throw garbage, so once you put that there,
They have to use
Little
it.
guy,
What
little
an emergency
bullets on the
reason.
floor.
Listen, that easement back there is a fight. To be honest with you, it's a fight for us. It is. Every single day, basically, there's a new garbage pile back there. Every day.
cause at the end,
I mean, that's,
yeah.
so,
But
that,
my
that canal bank does not go all the way to perimeter. That
No, no,
canal-
no. Maybe no all the way to the perimeter, but it goes all the way out, a long way,
It stops right.
almost next to perimeter.
No, no.
Have been going through there?
It goes from Hunting Club to Canal number 2.
Exactly. To Canal
That's only 1,000 feet.
Yeah, but we don't own
It's not-
it,
it's
we don't
not-
own it anyways,
Yeah, I
so
don't
we
know
can't.
why
We
we
don't
have to
own
do
it, yeah, we don't own it.
So-
And what I was
Go back to the
explaining
waste
is,
time.
we do
We don't want it,
have,
but we can use it for a.
Guys, you're wasting time.
And it's-
so the only reason why that was never an issue or never ever fenced is because nobody wanted to buy that lot, I'm sorry to say it that way, nobody wanted to buy anything there because of the trash and
Just
So
everybody
the-
riding
so the
all
on
that
it.
stuff.
So the question I asked you, Central County Water Control District does not need it whatsoever, any ups and downs,
For maintenance, for canal
for
maintenance.
maintenance.
No, I could always maintenance the canal from the other
There you
side.
go.
Okay, so there's
okay.
your answer from the board.
Yeah.
We won't be seeking to take it from you, you have full range, it's your property, fence it in, make it look beautiful, welcome to the community.
Alright,
Yeah,
Bob Martin.
Take pictures and,
Yeah.
and give it to
Yeah.
the sheriff.
thank you,
love
awesome,
people.
I appreciate it. Alright,
Thank you.
have a good one.
okay?
Same price.
Come back every month, come back
Even
every
if
month.
we didn't need it, we
Come back
still
every month
can't
for a
take it
meeting.
from him anyways,
Exactly, it was
So-
very nice of him to come here,
Yeah,
but
I know.
he needed no permission.
you know.
He owns it,
So-
we don't.
Yeah,
End of
I mean,
story.
once these issues come up, if they own the land, they,
If
we
you
shouldn't
want it,
even.
you have to pay him for it.
Yeah.
And we told him, we don't own it. He says, well, I wanna go there anyway, just to be nice.
Yeah,
but-
okay.
That's very nice of him.
Any other public comments? Alright, we're gonna move forward with old business and new business. Discuss and vote on federal grant program.
Yeah,
John?
so, as I said before, we talk a lot, but we don't act on, going after grants, I don't know grants. I've never gotten a grant in my life, I never will. Nobody else here does either. We have to hire professionals. We hired Erin, and I just sent her a text, trying to see if we got our money.
You guys gonna be looking into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, now Aaron does state grants, state of Florida. But if you remember last month, I talked to you about this federal safe roads program.
Yeah.
That's a federal, so, and, that's all, when you deal with the federal government, that's a whole other world. You usually, you'll specialize in the state of Florida grant programs, which has many, or, the federal programs, which are very complicated. Dealing with the federal government it makes dealing with Florida look really simple. And so, I asked around, and several people recommended this company. I met with Julie Dennis. Ovid Solutions LLC is the name of the company. There's no vote today. If you are interested, I can ask her to give us a proposal. The proposal would basically be, the way she explained it to me, 2 parts. We would pay them to find federal programs that we could benefit from. Julie's worked for FEMA. She worked for the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. She spent most of her life in government, now she started this company. I was very impressed with her. Like I said, several people I spoke to highly recommended them. And so the first thing they would do is say, okay, we looked, there's a federal program for, emergency structures. There's a federal program to improve substandard roads. There's a federal program for flood protection. I'm making these things up. Or there's federal programs that help depressed, socioeconomic communities, which, we can use to our advantage. So then the second step, once they identify that, is that you would say, okay, we're interested in, B and D and E. Let's put grant applications together and go after some of that money. And then that would be a separate fee. That would be a larger fee. I can tell you, these fees are in the tens of thousands of dollars to put these grant applications together, but they're chasing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So let me ask you this question, because I dealt with a couple of grant writers. You can give them basically a work deposit. I call it a work deposit, that's not really what it's called. where they start the process.
Retainer.
Yeah, they start the process, and then after, if you are to receive the grant, you give them a percentage of it, and they don't charge you so much from your pocket. It comes from the grant itself. Is that something that they can do as well,
Yeah.
so that we're not really diving deep into
Right.
our pockets to get more money and then we don't get it?
Like you, I
Yeah.
have heard, there's these grant guys that work on a contingency basis. Not the good ones, don't do that. I haven't found one yet. If you can find one, let's get a proposal from them. But I've asked around, and frankly, maybe, the guy that's working out of his house will do it, and I'll get 4% of the grant if you get it, or whatever. I don't know I've heard that too. I can't find those people. And my guess is if they exist, it's probably for the big grants. I don't know, but I can't find them.
Yeah, because
These guys that will, I think that's the first question I asked. Will you take this on contingency? They're like, no. And I spoke to, this is the fourth company I spoke to, the same thing with the state. Anybody I talked to, I used to hear that, oh, they'll take it on contingency. I haven't found those guys.
All you can do is chase the stuff that you qualify more for that. I know years ago, Angela Hill, she used to be the attorney for here. I think she used to charge like $500 to try to do grants and stuff, and we never got nothing.
Because it is an art, and I respect the people who do it. I can tell you, I know how to do things, but I'm gonna do it because it's not my area of specialty. And so you want to kill it at the first shot. You want somebody who's done it 5 times.
so this is who
Like
you really-
Erin was a good example. This is all she does is for resiliency. She nailed it for us. I would have been
So their grants cover multiple things, or is it just in environmentalism, is it gonna be roads?
anything in the federal arena.
Okay, fair.
So that's why I said part 1 of their work would be, hey, I'm gonna make up a number. Here's 4 or 5 grant programs that you guys may be interested in.
Yeah.
They go here. And again, I'm making this up. Maybe one's for roads, maybe one's a FEMA program for hardened structures. And then you guys look at the menu and you go, we're interested in this and that. Maybe there's some flood protection, federal flood protection, FEMA.
Do we have a starting price with them, or this is what
No,
you're proposing?
before I wasted their time and mine, I wanted to make sure you were okay with getting a proposal from them.
Oh, please.
I told them, let me talk to my board and see if they're interested, because I'm gonna tell you, the proposal's gonna be $20,000 or $30,000. It's not gonna be, $5,000.
How much was it that we paid,
Aaron
Aaron.
did it as kind of a partial favor. We did $2,500 to chase a $4 million grant.
and that we're in the
that's a-
process of receiving, correct?
And I'm gonna recommend that we hire Aaron again for $2,500. That's called a no-brainer.
She's with the state.
No, I went to her first. She's a good price. And she said, I don't touch that stuff. She was one of the people that said, you gotta deal with COVID. You're very good.
Okay.
It's just gonna be the hit and miss because you're not guaranteed to get it. You gotta qualify for it, and then you have to actually get it. So we could spend 20,000, get nothing. We could spend 20,000 and get 10.
I think Montura, because of the conditions here, we check so many of the boxes.
Yeah.
Rural area, low population, socioeconomic. It's
Now that we're on the grant subject, 'cause I actually, the reason I brought it up is because I spoke to a couple fire districts, that they're just like Montour, like they deal with fire control and stuff like that.
Fire districts are rich.
Hold on, yeah, let me get there. And there were some things that I was discussing with them pertaining our volunteer fire department. And I stopped by the office to discuss it with them as well. There's a lot of grants, just speaking with a couple chiefs, that as a water control district, with us having a volunteer fire department, we can, and this is why I'm all for it, because we can probably qualify for one of those grants, where basically, and this is what the chief said, a water control district right now has a full 24/7 service fire department within its district because it's so massive. It's like a town, but it's not a town, it's just a water control district. So the grant
Close up.
pays for new equipment, new rigs, salary, you name it, but it goes to the water control district.
We don't have a fire department.
We don't regulate a fire department. And that was something that I was gonna get to. We don't regulate the fire department, that goes with the county taxes. But because it's a volunteer fire department, if we were to ever work together with this grant, all of that money that we would get from that grant would be given to Central County to given to our local volunteer fire department. And that's something that, you know, when we go to the Florida Department of Special Districts Conference, I'm gonna speak to someone because they're gonna be there. And I'm gonna ask them, you know, and I think this is a great idea. I don't see a problem with it, you know, but I just wanted to keep that in everyone's mind that there are grants, there is funding out there that we can help some of our partners with in getting, especially our community members. And if we can help our fire department out here, I think that would be amazing.
And I'm very happy that you're going to the FASD conference. It is really good. It's the one in Orlando. You're gonna learn so much, and you're gonna meet, literally, there's like over 1,000 attendees. It's-
When is that?
It's
Is that
usually.
next month? Yes.
Yeah,
I think,
June?
I think
it's in Orlando. They
Yeah.
usually have one of those mega convention hotels. It's a giant conference.
is it like $900 to go there?
Yeah, it's not
a
cheap,
3-day
it's
event.
more,
Okay,
actually.
because I got that one of my emails at work for that.
It is,
16th to
Yeah.
16, 17.
No.
No,
No?
well,
11 to
Yeah.
15.
yeah, we sent Arminio
So something like that.
to get certified as a district manager there, which is another excellent program. To get certified as a manager, they teach you like literally everything from public records law to the latest in technology. Yeah, so, you know, in Florida, the only fire districts are on the west coast, and the reason there are fire districts is none of the counties have fire departments. So they, in order to create fire departments, they created these taxing districts. The board of directors is made up of the firefighters, so they decide their own salaries, their own pensions, and they have lots and lots of money. It's an interesting form of government. Those guys, they're the board of directors that decides their own pay. So they're all very, very, very well-paid
The
firefighters.
big-
A lot of corruption, it
yeah,
sounds like.
the biggest joke is they just bought 2 rigs worth $500,000,
Yeah.
and their last year's rigs, instead of auctioning them off, they donated them. They gave them away. And when I heard that, I told the chief, and we're actually the second district in his roster list, so that, for them to receive a Peterbilt pumper of last year, because every year they buy a new pumper in some of their stations. So I said, hey, you know, word of mouth, helping out our volunteer fire department, if that's what we could do, that's what we could do. But I think this would be a great thing. We need to vote on it.
If you guys tell me, go ahead, I don't think you need to vote.
I
I'll
think
bring a
we're all in
proposal to
agreement.
them.
agreement,
I will let her know
So
that you
yeah.
guys read the materials, you're interested, you'd like to consider a proposal, and I'll bring it back to you, hopefully, next month.
Okay, and let's move on to section B,
You want
discussing.
us, I'm sorry, you want us to put something on the agenda? about
Yes,
that for
well,
next
I
month?
don't know how quick, like, it was tough to even get a meeting, she's very busy. It's only, it's 4 people in the company. And it's hard, they're busy. Look, just when you get a chance, strum through it, it's very impressive.
They are very good.
They got credentials, they got street cred. All right, so the next item is, about 2 weeks ago, Commissioner Iglesias called and said, hey, remember that thing about the golf carts? And I think I sent you all an email on this. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was doing this, but Commissioner Iglesias worked with Hendry County's lobbyist in Tallahassee, and they got an amendment to the law. So if you remember, I got an Attorney General's opinion, which I think I attached to the email I sent you a few weeks ago, but in February of 2022, at the urging of the board, because there's a lot of people that wanted to use golf carts on district right-of-way. So Mark Lack, who was the Hendry County attorney at the time, and I jointly wrote a letter to the Attorney General of the state of Florida and said, we would like an opinion. Can Central County Water Control District authorize the use of golf carts on its roads? And actually, it's not, I misspoke, not the right of way, what I meant is our roads. And at that, in February of 2022, the AGO said no, because there was a statute just on golf cart usage on public roads, but the statute only related to counties and municipalities. So the AGO said, I looked at 298, I looked at the statute with this chapter 316, nothing about water control districts. So no, you can't do it, because you're a creature of statute. So fast forward, and you should all have in your package the actual bill. So basically what's underlined is what was added to the law. So it used to say, any county or municipality with jurisdiction, over public roads and streets, and then they added the following in this session. Or a road that is owned and maintained by a water control district and has been designated by that water control district for use by golf carts. So this is not what's called self-executing. In other words, for this to become a reality, this board has to make a determination. And I'm going to go through what that determination is, but these are golf carts on the public roads, not in the right of way. So this says that the golf cart may not be operated on public roads or streets by any person who is under 18 years of age unless he or she has a valid driver's license. Cannot be operated by anyone who is 18 years of age or older unless he or she possesses a valid form of government-issued photographic identification. All this is really for the police. So if you're hauling butt or doing wheelies in the middle of a public street, yeah, if they pull you over, they want to know who you are. You have to have ID on you, picture ID, so they can cite you if you're doing something like that. Also,
Now, has this been passed in Florida?
yeah, session's over, it passed. I don't know if it got signed, I don't know why it wouldn't get signed.
I think it'll be on October.
Yeah, the effective date. So when a law passes, it becomes effective at the end of June unless the law has an effective date in it.
They're in recess, yeah.
So the change was to section 316.212 of the Florida statute. So in order for you to authorize golf courts on Central County public roads and streets, you have to first determine that golf carts may safely travel on or across the public road or street, considering factors including speed, volume, and character of motor vehicle traffic using the road or street. Upon a determination by you that golf carts may be safely operated on the designated road or street, the responsible governmental entity, you, shall post appropriate signage indicating such operation is allowable. So, you have to
You
first...
put golf cart signs up all through Monterey?
Well, let me just say, it's not you don't go everywhere. You can designate areas. Okay, but you have to do it, you can't be arbitrary about it. Try to find stretches of the road where you think it would be safe. Like arterial roads, the paved roads, I would personally, respectfully, I would recommend that you keep golf carts off of the main arterial roads, because that's where people go faster, and those roads are important. They're arterial roads for a reason. You don't want people screwing around on those roads.
Oh, wow.
I would keep it to the non-paved, non-arterial roads, if you allow it. Before, the board's position was, we're handcuffed, we don't have the discretion. Now, the law gave you the discretion.
Now we
You don't
have
have to do it,
No, we
but if you do it,
Gone.
you have to do it in a, mindful way.
Yeah, because like Clewiston, I mean, have you ever seen the golf carts in Clewiston? I mean, they're in the middle of the city. They're riding on the road. For people to run, because what's going to end up happening is that if they can't ride on the road, one day somebody's going to jump on the road, officers are going to see them, and they're going to make their life hell. And we don't
yeah.
want that. Now, I think that we should take the measures as far as, they got to have lights on it,
Yes, I was just-
tail lights, reflectors, something to where, it's like a horse. People
But
ride their
in
horses.
Cleveland, they can,
And just to where, safety precautions, a lot of people, they ride horses on the road and there's no reflectors and nothing on them.
Oh my God.
And people do it all the time. And we've never had nobody yet really get hit on a horse yet. So with the golf cart, I think people will be hopefully a little bit more mindful of it. And then if we allow them to ride on the paved road, do we have any liability with that? But that's the other thing, what's the liability with that? Is the liability the same on the side, on the road?
Because you own the roads,
Yeah.
you have liability today, you'll have liability tomorrow.
Okay.
You have liability with cars.
And
For example, I'm sorry, just one quick. So for example, let's say there's a four-way stop. Somebody shot up a stop sign, the crew removes it and never puts one back, and there's an accident, guess what?
We're liable.
You're liable, big time. So that liability isn't gonna change because there's golf carts. You could argue there's relatively less liability with golf carts.
Let me ask this question, because I know they did this in LaBelle for a while. They allowed in certain areas that were very dense and very populated with houses and where people are going to be slow because there's kids and family around. And then in other areas it was allowed, but it was restricted after a certain amount of time. Is that something that we can apply as well?
You can set up parameters, but let me recommend something. If you're gonna go forward with this, I highly recommend that either Edminio or you and Edminio, one of you, meet with the sheriff's office and talk to them, because they're remember, we have an agreement with them. We have given them enforcement authority over our roads
Yeah, that's a
that
problem.
they would not otherwise have.
And
Because they're not
and
county roads,
with that
they're
being-
central county roads.
Yeah, and with that being said, since we're on that subject, we don't have a deputy here at this meeting, and I think it's coming to that point where us as Montour residents, instead of paying, I broke down what Chris was saying about security. Instead of paying a security guard, I think we should start paying for a deputy. Because I pulled GPS log, and I'm gonna be honest, if we now allow these golf carts, we're gonna need somebody here. And I don't mean, oh, we're gonna need you in Clewiston, oh, we're gonna need you in LaBelle. No, we pay for you, you stay here, like how they did with Dominguez. Once they stop paying for him, the county had to pay for him now, so now he goes wherever they want. When we pay for it, they have to stay here. I spoke with a couple of city officials in LaBelle. They were tired of it because they were having the same issues, so they paid for 2 deputies to permanently stay in LaBelle. Clewiston has their own PD, so we're not even gonna touch that subject, but I think it's time that instead of paying for security, we get and pay for our own deputies to be here, so we don't have that, because I can foresee it. I almost hit someone on a horse, he ran right through the stop line, and I slammed on my brakes, and I can see this happening with golf carts. I'm all for the golf carts because, we need something like this for people to do, but you can foresee it.
I was gonna mention before, some areas of Clewiston, you can ride golf cart, you cannot ride it everywhere.
Yeah.
You have some areas, especially I believe in the north side of the main road. There is where you can ride it. You're supposed to ride it in the south side, even though some people go to the street and go to the south side.
But would y'all,
In LaBelle, the same thing. In LaBelle, you have some areas where you can ride the golf cart. In Pioneer, you can ride the golf cart everywhere up to the stop
To
sign,
the main road, to the gas station?
to the stop sign of the fire station, I believe.
Okay.
Close by there, close by there. It says no golf carts allowed.
Pass that.
Open, we say Harlan, the same way Harlan, you have a big, huge area
Yeah.
where you can ride it, but then when you go, almost to go outside of Harlan, they have big signs that says, no golf carts are allowed, above this,
So I think from what I'm hearing is we're all for it. I think we're just gonna have to have a workshop on that, mapping out zones where it's allowed and not allowed, and then coming up with a big master plan of locations for signs, what are the parameters of what they should have on their golf cart.
Yes.
Is anyone opposing that? That
And
we-
by the way, maybe you want to meet with someone at
Yeah.
Pioneer.
Yeah.
What do they learn? Someone at Lewiston.
Yeah, well,
And
because,
Santana, maybe you can, if you have contacts there, to say, because this is new, and then we have the budget for signs and also brochures. Whatever our rules are, we should print up a bunch of brochures and give them to people so they can be educated, but to avoid problems.
yeah, I just, because as far as like the zoning, I mean, I can see like 833 Pinecone, but everything else internal to Montura, it's the same thing. The only place that there's the most amount of traffic is where I live down by the store. But I see golf, even now to today, I see golf carts going through there, you know, and, but I'm not for
I agree with you.
limiting the areas because what's gonna happen, somebody's gonna end
I would
up.
say 833.
Yeah,
And,
Pinecone,
Pinecone.
you can't ride, and that's not even our road.
Well,
Pinecone's not
833
even
is
our
our
road.
road. That's a
Yeah,
big road.
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But we
saying.
can just, maybe just say, look, it's not our road, but just, you shouldn't, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't even tell, I don't know. But everything internal to Montura, I don't see why we would want to limit anything, because there's gonna be some people mad if they say, well, you can't come down this road. They're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah. And for example, if you have like, it's like nighttime driving, then you have to have lights, or you can prohibit
I would suggest
nighttime
that,
driving.
I would suggest that on the beginning to put section,
Sun up to sun down. Why not? Sun up to sun down. Hey, that's
I'm
go forward.
I'm born and raised here. The thing is that the one night somebody wants to just get and ride.
He's a libertarian, he wants.
No,
I'm conservative.
Everything
I'm
goes.
actually constitutionalist.
Most
I'm a
conservatives
constitutionalist.
are libertarians, they want government out of
Yeah,
their life.
because the thing is a lot of people, they're always gonna go to the worst, somebody's gonna get hit at night. I've lived here my whole life, and I've been on fire department, we went to very few times people got hit at night. Most of the time, it's people on four-wheelers acting dumb or drunk. But like as of right now, anybody in here knows if a golf cart's ever been hit?
Listen, I know the mentality that we
But-
have here in Honduras.
That's-
It's better if we only drive only daytime. Sun out.
I would suggest put it, I mean.
May I suggest that we have our volunteer, Mr. Santana, talk to Clueston, talk to Pioneer, maybe they say, oh, it doesn't matter, maybe they say yes. I'd like to know what they.
Oh, maybe you're right, I'm afraid people without lights in the back,
No.
riding a golf cart.
But we could say that you need lights. So the thing is that if we can make it as safe as we can, you gotta have headlights, you gotta have tail lights, and you gotta have a reflector. That's the best we could do.
And they're gonna have a tag.
The first thing they do in Houston,
A vehicle tag.
Yeah, they have to.
They do.
They have to be legal. No, yes. Anything that move on the road,
Under a certain mile per hour?
No, man, no.
you have to have.
Golf cart
no.
needs a-
The first thing they do in Houston is they are allowed on the north side, like you say, but they need to bring the golf cart to
The police station.
DMV of the police station, and it needs to be inspected.
Inspect it.
Okay.
For
Somebody needs to
synchronized,
take that.
They can bring it to you here and you inspect it.
So I see.
No, sir. What?
I see we have a lot of questions
Maybe you inspect it
pertaining,
with
pertaining golf carts, so I think we need to have a workshop where
Yes,
everybody
I
comes
agree
in
with you.
with their ideas, and plans, so we can really make a master plan, like I said. I know a lot of citizens are gonna be happy that they have it, we're just gonna need to put some restrictions, some rules, some safety precautions, in a master plan. So the board's good with that?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I suggest for all of us here since this came out today, if we're gonna talk to the community, we are gonna be working into that. You know, we got it, you know, but it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna be tomorrow. It's gonna take some time to put some order in
We
place.
can do a big
Whatever workshop you guys wanna decide about golf carts, it better be on the clubhouse, where you can feed 300 people.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And that would be easy.
Hey, that's good.
Because I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna
That's
do
good.
it.
All we can do is open the venue, and if they show up, great. If they don't, the meeting's still gonna.
I have 2 deputies.
No, I ain't gonna be that. But then everybody's
Alright.
ready. And when do we have to have this? Because I know it'll be effective October 1st of this year. When do we need to have this submitted?
You know, we're ready to prove.
As long
We can tell them right today if we wanted to.
It's
right?
nothing for 10 years.
It's for us to get together.
Don't say that we're everybody. Because they're gonna be listening to the video, and you're gonna see all the golf carts going out.
After October 1st.
Chris is ready to go with his golf cart. Alright. Let's move on to staff
He's gonna
reports.
install a sound system on it.
I would suggest when we do that workshop at the clubhouse for the,
Well, that was just a suggestion.
No,
That's a great one.
That's
That's a great one.
okay,
Alright, so the board agrees to have a workshop at the clubhouse.
I believe we can do it here.
we need to bring two subjects, or 2 items to that meeting. Allowed to have golf cart on the street and the Avalon taxes.
After October
That's the
1st.
time we're gonna have.
After October 1st.
No,
Not after
let me
that.
finish. That's the time, like you said, where essentially there's gonna be 300 people there because of one that. That's the time to also to bring to the community that the taxes, okay?
No.
Yes, we have to. We have
Don't
to.
bring
it's
those
a
families
perfect
together.
venue.
No.
We have to. That way
You
everybody knows what's going on.
you have no bringing those,
Yeah.
don't bring those.
Everybody will be happy to approve most of them, I said.
Okay, we're gonna
We
move
happy,
forward.
yeah.
We're gonna move forward. Let's
Yeah,
go to,
Mayalia mentality, you know how much.
let's move forward.
That's the
We're gonna
best way
go
to do
to
it.
our
Bring it all in
district
the table,
manager.
everybody- yeah.
Alright. Let's move forward with our district manager's report.
So, we're still doing roads, only repairs, potholes and stuff like that. We're still cleaning up canal number 5. We're still working on the washouts, especially now with the little bit of rain. The boom over is going through Montura on the quarter miles, cleaning every single quarter mile through Montura. We sold 20 permits, 16 of them are new. We're still picking up trash, especially semi-tires. Pool is open. The basketball backboards has been already installed, the new ones. So Brennan from US Sugar, which he was donated by them, they're gonna be over there on Friday to take pictures or.
That's good, good job.
We've been through the preparation for the summer camp. Fingerprint, drug tests, applications, I mean, you can name it. Looking for field trips, all kind of stuff.
Did you run those through the federal database?
We're doing the level 2,
Hey, that's a good point that you made there. I want myself, because you said that we.
can I finish my?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
The volleyball event. It was no teams whatsoever, not even one person showed up. So we're gonna do some changes on our events, on our calendar, and we will bring it to the board since that event calendar was approved by the board. We will do some changes on it. If you guys like it, you discuss about it, you approve it, you change it, or however you want to do it. The reason for that is because there is, for example, this volleyball tournament was put in there just to do a test because some resident was asking for it. but nobody went. The basketball tournaments, we got 4 through the year, and lately, only 2 tournaments had a good turnout, and then the other one is so, you know. The soccer tournaments are always full. I mean, they enjoy it to the max. We also preparing the pool room again, which is already done, you know, patching all those walls on the next fiscal year. We're still working on the reservoir. We just did a full inspection of all the pump stations again. The other thing is the signs. On the budget, if you guys notice, we increased the budget for the signage to $20,000. This year we spent $42,000 on signs, which is incredible. I mean, it's not supposed to be more than $5,000. People still vandalizing the signs, taking them out. I don't know what they do with it, but we still changing a lot of signs and cleaning a lot of signs with kerosene and whatever we can, because they are doing graffiti. Some of them are really, you know, bad words and stuff like that, just so you guys know. So it's not supposed to happen, but it is happening.
That's how we debate it.
All right.
Any questions from?
Is that your
Yeah.
report?
I,
Let's make it fast. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I want to ask you, I want to tell you, to do the criminal record check, for all the Central County employees, like we approve here, it's in 483 East Cowboy Way, right there. You only go there, each employee go there, pay $10, and in 5 minutes they give you the results. They do the FCIC and the NCIC.
Okay, that's gonna be my question.
So they do both of them, and that's simple, it's 5 minutes, and that's it. You know, it's 5 minutes, that's it. So that's the most accurate, $10.
Oh, okay.
That's the most accurate way to do the criminal background check.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have no problem doing that, but the board did not approve to do background check to the employees.
Yes, we approve it.
No, no,
Yes, Mr. Fumalo,
no.
we approve it, doing the criminal background check to all the employees.
No.
No, you approved
No.
using the databases that you had talked
For
about.
all.
Yeah, but then we have to, in order to use the database, we have to do the criminal background check of all the Central County employees. That's what we approve.
No, we approved, well, we can't do any of that to.
Mr. Fumalo said yes.
No,
We
no,
agreed-
no.
No,
So,
we agreed for all incoming
Right,
and
for
new
new
employees.
yeah,
All the incoming employees.
yeah.
Well, John was supposed to look into it,
Because-
the ones that are already here, if we
We
legally
can't.
can,
Right.
which you said
So,
you- that we
yeah.
can't.
He said we did.
Because we hired them,
Mhm.
we did background checks, good, bad, we
Whatever.
did background checks. If they haven't done nothing wrong,
We can't just,
so for example, let's say you do a thorough background check on an existing employee, and 20 years ago, he, I don't know, got in a fight with somebody, broke his arm.
We
You're
talked,
gonna
we
fire
can, we brought that up.
Right.
We discussed that we were not gonna fire them if they have any felony or whatever in the background check, except for sexual abuse or you know what I'm saying, sexual offense.
Okay.
But, and you said, yeah, we can do it.
No, I did not. No, sir. No.
I would like to see a tape. I would like to see a tape.
Yes,
He
you
said,
can, but
okay,
you
so-
can't change the rules of a game. Once you start playing baseball and you're in inning 6, you can't say, oh, I have a new rule. We hired them. Good or bad, we did a background check and we said, you're good. Now, if you want to
So we do it to all the incoming,
Yeah, because
Yes.
now you can't say, oh, by the way, you've been working here for 10 years, but now if you were involved in some sexual harassment 20, 30 years ago, we're gonna fire you. That's a new rule, that wasn't part of, when they were hired.
No, I didn't say we're gonna fire them. What we can do,
Okay.
the
We're
criminal
gonna-
process.
But the big thing is
And
that.
by the way, and you know, every time you do that, you're creating a public record
Yeah.
Yeah,
on those individuals.
yeah, but the thing is like, does Central County hire convicted felons?
No.
So then the thing is, and that's the thing, if they don't hire convicted felons and somebody ends up being a convicted felon, let's say that
This
it's
is
something
the only
bad,
way.
like they are sexual predator, not sexual predator, because then I'm pretty sure that'll pop up, but they committed something they're guilty of now, a bad crime, then, you know, it's like, what do you do with that? Because then if they do something wrong, and Central County allows it, Central County liable of it. And then if you fire them,
No,
then you're in a whole other problem too.
You're not liable for what someone does, what an employee does because of their past, their history, that's not liable. But look, if you want to do background checks on everybody, that's your choice, you can do it.
Mhm.
What I'm talking about is what do you do with that information? That's the real question.
Yeah, because my thing is that if you hire a
Because
convicted
now he
felon,
said sexual offense, now you said felonies, you know,
But
if you
yeah,
want
we're
to
not
create those
rebel.
rules,
yeah, because let's say that somebody works here now and they're hired, they're a convicted felon, they just don't know. They go to the clubhouse, there's an altercation, they hurt somebody. Central County knows about it. So then it's like, they're gonna say, okay, you should have known, you know now, but you can't fire them because
we
you're.
made a reasonable inquiry, we hired a firm that does background.
That wasn't good, that wasn't good. That's no criminal background check, that's no criminal.
So
Okay, well, we're
just-
gonna move forward.
Just so the board
Go ahead.
get at ease, we, with the summer camp, we are doing a fingerprint background level 2, which is
Well, and they're with kids,
Yes.
you should be doing
For-
that level of.
for every single employee.
Do they do NCIC?
Yes, ever
And
since you brought it
FCIC?
up.
It's level 2,
Yeah.
it's
Ever
what
since you
school
brought it up,
does.
yes.
That's good. That's
Because
good.
the issue that I brought up a while back is that that's for the summer camp. But now, whenever the employees here go to these Easter events, they're participating in a function with kids. So if everybody had the clubhouse pass, but then over here, you have no idea.
And I
That's
think-
why we was talking about,
Okay, that happened before.
But
That happened
didn't, I think we discussed that moving forward next year, that they were gonna get checked and everything.
yes, because that's what John's supposed to check on. He
Yeah.
says that we don't know if we legally can, he says that we can.
He said we can.
That we can check
Yeah.
on them to make sure, because it always goes back to, it's like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Everybody at the clubhouse has to go through level 2.
Yes.
Over here, they don't have to. Right?
It didn't used to be like that.
But
Correct.
I know
Right,
now.
but the thing is now is like whenever these employees go to the clubhouse to do these functions with the community, it's the same type of awareness, you gotta know who it is around the kids.
And you
And then
are,
that's why we're saying, if we're gonna do it for one, do it for
Yeah,
both.
like-
Yeah, and
Like
I
said,
think moving
if-
forward,
agree
that's
with
what
you.
we're
you are 100%
Yeah.
right, that's
Yeah.
why we're doing
That's what I'm saying.
fingerprint level 2 for everybody.
Right.
Even here.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Okay.
Okay, let's move forward to our district engineers report. Mr. Bennett?
Okay, we talked about, part of what I had on my report was the challenge deal with the gentleman that wanted to know about the easement. But, clubhouse, we've, completed our survey that we were doing, so everything out there is located and drawn up to scale. We got all the, playground equipment located, the shelters, the parking, everything on there. So now when we plan to do something with ball fields or whatever, we know exactly where we can put them and how much room we've got. We actually found out that one of the baseball dugouts is located out in the road instead of on clubhouse property. But
It's on the swell.
yeah, so, but anyway, that's completed, and,
That was not me, by the way.
yeah.
I've been there
It's a
for
small
years.
crew.
I've been there for years.
And, the other thing that Firmino had asked me a while back, he needed more storage space there at the clubhouse, and you're gonna get one of these storage containers, so we did a foundation plan for that, as how to anchor it down. So we've got the plot plan and the foundation plan done for that, so.
Is it one of those, you see the commercials now, General Steel, where you can buy these prefab, yeah,
Buildings.
those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
And do you have to get a county permit to meet, that shows you're meeting hurricane, yeah?
yeah. So if you want me to get a permit pulled for that, I can do that.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay, any board members have any questions?
Nope.
All right, we're gonna move, oh, go ahead.
I just want to ask, like, so, where the, you know where the pool area is, where there used to be the lockers and stuff there? That's completely closed off now, right?
The locker?
Yeah, like as soon as you come down the steps, you make the left, where the lawnmowers and stuff are stored. There used to be lockers and stuff there years ago, used to have.
Right, that was done even before I did.
Right,
the
right, right.
clubhouse. Yeah, that used to be a pavilion, and they closed it into,
Yeah, cause,
oh, you're talking about the little sun space?
no, it's actually part of the addition to where the mowers and stuff is now. The pavilion you're talking about. This, before you make the left to go to the pool, it used to be straight ahead. It used to have lockers there. It used to, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, well, the way it is now, it was like that when I got in the clubhouse.
Yes.
The only thing I did was to fence the little spot next to the shed that they made out of the pavilion that was there.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I know that you're talking about for more storage space. Like where you have all that, would it be better to, where do you want to move or put the other building at now? The
That would be, we still gotta go to the clubhouse, Mr. Bennett and me, and make sure that the location that we pick for that is the right
Yeah.
location. But it's gonna be right around between the well and the smoke.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because it's like as soon as, because I remember years ago as a kid, we used to use that for the swimming team. We had lockers there where kids could put stuff in there, lock it up. If they go to the basketball courts, they don't have to worry about people stealing their stuff.
Yeah, when I got into clubhouse,
Yeah.
the locker room was blue, right?
Yeah, it was really old.
Green, blue.
Yeah, those
There
brown or
was
something.
one against the pool room, by the showers, by the two entry of the showers,
Yeah.
and one behind the shed or the pavilion.
Yeah.
When we went to remove it, that just fell apart a little bit.
Yeah, because what I was wondering is that, like for, because since you're on the subject about for more storage space, if you moved all your mowers and stuff away from like the chill, you know, from the pool area, the recreational, and push everything over and then turn that back into where people can sit down, maybe put lockers again, or do something different in that area. Because if
I
they ever
have-
caught on fire to burn the clubhouse down, like if you have everything further away, you have your fuels and all your stuff away from everybody.
Okay, so the more space that we want is one for the mowing machines.
Okay.
And second, we have a lot of stuff that we've been buying and collecting for all the events that we
Yeah.
do, all the bounce houses, and there's a lot of stuff. All that is gonna be on that container, which is gonna be divided into two. One is gonna have a AC, and the other part is not. Behind the pool, there's like a little roof where the blue tractor used to be.
Yeah, the lead to, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good spot for that, but I have plans for that for the future,
Yeah.
to get more seating space for the public.
Yeah, that's one because it's kind of like, you know, you have the pool, you have the clubhouse, then you have all your stuff in the middle. And years ago, they used to never be like that. And I was just wondering if maybe all that stuff could be pushed away from like where all the kids and stuff is and turn that back into a recreational area. The people used to sit there and we used to eat, and then like we had lockers where we could actually put stuff in it. Maybe we could get some kind of recreational grant, maybe then to upgrade it, maybe get some a steel building or something put in.
Yeah, we can look into
Just, that's what I was saying, since we're on the topic of that, you know, if maybe you can consider going a little bit bigger and see what else you need to put everything from that one area away, then just use that for rec instead of for storage.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. We can look into it.
And just kill two birds with one stone, and then you'll be able to get all that back. And then if it ever caught on fire, it's out there. If it catches fire next to the clubhouse, clubhouse going with it.
Alrighty, we're gonna move forward. to we already spoke about our budget. Do you wanna go over it again, or you're good?
I put the treasury report, you know, everything. One thing we're about
Go ahead.
is, involves the investment of our money. First Bank of Wilson is a fully authorized depository that manages assets and all that. So, and they have a program where they've been paying us 4.35% interest on the checking account. Really good for public deposits. And you might see a CD for 5.1 in the news, but it's not going to be public funds. So anyway, we have most of our money there. We have 167,000 in the money market at Seacoast, and they're not paying near that much. I talked to the manager today.
Transfer it back to First Bank.
Yes, I'd like to have the motion that it takes to
All
close
right.
that account out to you.
Alright, can I have a motion?
Aye.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
And just this, you know that, and it's gonna get worse. Banks, we're gonna have a bank crisis in this country, not the big guys, little guys. So FDIC insured accounts are up to 250. Should we break up our money?
Well, but if you remember, there's it's called a Public Depository Security Act in the state of Florida. If you're a public depository, you pledge money, you're guaranteed.
We're insured up to the dollar amounts we have.
100%.
Counties have tens of millions of dollars in one account, as long as it's a public depository account covered by that section.
Yeah, your money that,
And that's in the auditor's footnotes.
I have to take my business out of it.
4 banks that have $15 billion or more are now bankrupt.
That's what they say they had, but
Oh, no,
they
these are
only
big
maybe had
banks.
10% of it there.
Republic National, Silicon Valley,
Alright,
Please take the money
those are
out.
big boys.
I ain't got no money.
I agree.
Alrighty, let's move over to section D, District Attorney's Report.
Yes, okay, real quick, very interesting, so, a old friend of mine, got a job last year at the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And I spoke to Emilio about this, he called me a few weeks ago and said, hey, we're about to take legal action against some of those aquaculture farms. And I saw your name, I saw you're the district attorney, so he called me to say a few things. That we have any evidence of illegal discharges from those aquaculture fish farms into our canals? I said, we do, but it's old. And he said, well, that's not gonna help me. But Scene Misterio Ranch, Inc., Juan Vedia, you know, Scene Misterio?
From the fish farm?
Yeah.
Juan Carlos.
Yeah.
Dusser and Granja.
He's now in the crosshairs of Dax. They're going for him. I think we should support Dax because he's been the biggest violator, discharging. Their inspectors went, he doesn't even do a good job of hiding it. They found a ton of violations, including, somewhat hidden culverts into our canals being discharged.
We found some of them years
He
ago.
called it an emergency overflow, but they had an engineer that said it's not, if an emergency, it'd be set at a pretty high elevation, so, that's a problem. We have residences here. Fish farms are industrial, that's industrial wastewater. To use a technical term, that's nasty, nasty water. So I'm gonna keep my eyeball on it, but if it moves forward, I'm gonna recommend that we get involved. Also, the county has basically gone after them because he expanded, so remember, we went through this whole process 2 years ago with Margaret Embledge and the new zoning designations? Well, in that, it says those fish farms can never expand. They cannot change. They got grandfathered in. Well, he expanded his operations and the county cited him. So now it's the county and Dax are kind of going after him. They have filed a legal complaint, administrative complaint. And know I sent it to you, and I may have sent it to the board, I don't recall. If not, I can. So anyways, heads up, that was a big deal a few years ago where a lot of our crew was, filming, this wastewater discharging in our canals. So it's a problem. I'm
So
glad.
you guys understand how all this started. About 2 years ago, they were fined because they literally discharged the water on a road,
Oh my god, yeah.
in the road, and they were fined, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
After that, they have a hydrology system under our canal bank,
Yeah.
which I took Bennett over there to look at. That was the second issue. Now, this last issue was actually brought up by
Neighbor.
the neighbor. It has a really nice video from a drone
Yeah,
showing everything that Fumero is talking about, including dumping dead fish
Yeah.
in that extension that they made without permission.
Yeah.
And the other thing that it is there is that we went and cleaned up, when we were cleaning up the swells, there was 6 inches pipe. There was a water level discharge from that illegal extension of pond
From Granja?
into our swells.
Yeah.
So that's how,
I would say this, I would ask that every once in a while, you have somebody eyeball, if we can, Dax has asked me if they can get any video of any of those illegal structures, any of those, but new video, any illegal discharges, they wanted to add to their case.
right.
So.
So they came to the office and they were asking me about the property. I said, we don't have any jurisdiction on the property. You will have to go to Henry County or agriculture inspections. They got the right to go in there and
Yep.
do whatever they have to do.
I mean, we have the right to prevent any discharges into
Right.
our
That-
canals, our swales. I mean, cut it, fill it with cement, do whatever you gotta do, but document it.
Right. That we are keeping our eyes open.
This is
That's crazy.
the property right over 833?
No.
No, that's a different
Del
one.
Sur and Fronda.
Fronda.
Yeah, because I know that they're allowed a discharge, but it has to be, what do you call it,
No, they have, so if they're
Has to
lawful,
build up.
they have two discharges. They have a stormwater system
Yep.
that's segregated from the wastewater
yeah,
system.
keep all the.
They cannot discharge that wastewater into our canals.
No,
They have to have settling ponds and all that.
yes.
They can have a stormwater system,
Mhm.
and they do, and that's okay. That's okay. But their problem, what they're doing is, is the way, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I know that by the canal they had an outfall. It just basically your water has to raise up so high, then it pours over.
Yeah.
But what it's gonna be is, it doesn't have a lot of discharge. It'll just be to keep it from overtopping, and after that, I
Yeah.
don't think.
And if that's stormwater, if that's their stormwater system, that's fine.
Yeah, what they was doing was pumping into that to force it. And there's a lot of stuff, because I know that they connected one of their ponds into the culvert. And that's where we was working there, we went there, and we seen the water going through the culvert, but the other side is dry, and we're like, what's going on here? And what it was is that where their like all the solids and stuff pond, that was connected into it. And then what it was is that they cut a hole into the HDPE pipe and put a pipe into it, and then they opened up the valve and just let it out. And then that's what got him in trouble. And I think the guy ended up in jail too at one point. And
Yeah, I mean, everybody out here is on wells. That should be a zero tolerance with those guys.
So let's join the case.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked about the golf court legislation. And so I want to be clear here. Last month, you said you weren't interested in hiring the new consultants on the reservoir. And I just want to make sure, so I'm not doing anything on that. Just want to make sure I didn't miss, so, okay, we're just gonna let it ride as is. And then I've just been meeting with grant consultants for the federal programs, and I'll bring something back to you next week, and that's it.
That's all?
I had a question about the grant, the DOT grant that you was talking about. Well, maybe I'll bring that up in my supervisor report, not to get off track. I'll do it on my supervisor report.
Alrighty, we're gonna go to supervisor's report.
Okay.
Supervisor Self?
So, down where I live on Avenida del Club, there's tons of people that go up and down riding bikes and walking and stuff. And I wanted to see if you know, tell the board that if we could look into maybe trying to get a sidewalk on one side or the other.
Done.
Whether it's done through, I know we don't have the money to do it ourselves, but if we could try to find some type of a grant, because I know there's been quite a few people killed on the road. And if at least we put a sidewalk, they have somewhere to go. If they want to get on the road and get hit,
Done.
we can't, you know. I'll put that in the agenda for the next one for us to,
Yeah.
or if there's something maybe the consultant could look into.
Yeah, I
she could-
think that's a good one, you know, public safety and all that good
So
stuff.
should we wait for the,
I would wait for them to identify them, I don't know what's out there, they will.
yeah,
Let me bring the proposal to you, and if you accept it, we'll ask them specifically to, you know, tag something like that.
I would suggest to put the sidewalk on both sides, so you don't get the other side saying, I pay taxes too, why do
Yeah.
I
Well, we
have
can,
a sidewalk?
if we do something like that, you put everything in, sidewalks on both sides, more signage, you
yeah.
throw in
Because the biggest issue that we have down that road, a little storm comes, them eucalyptus trees, they
Oh.
break, they fall.
That's right. Take them
I
down.
had a truck of mine years ago, I was going down the road, and it fell and cracked my windshield. It was an old truck that I had, and I think before we put them sidewalks in, if we could
Take them down.
get a grant to get them all pulled out,
Yes.
that's gonna help a lot. Because during the hurricane, me and my brother, we spent hours going down through there, and they had the big tree that fell over on Dadle, and they had to take, and it did, I mean,
Just last rainy season, we were at 1 AM, we were a little bit over your house,
yeah, on Dadle, that
when
big
I
tree
had
there.
it- Right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Vero, and we were there for like 2 hours cutting a huge
Yeah.
tree that just,
The whole thing
Well,
uprooted, and the thing is, eventually, at some point, the roots are gonna get under the road, and it's just gonna destroy the road. So, if somewhere we could get sidewalks put in and just get rid of all the eucalyptus trees down through there, it's gonna save us a lot of liability and a lot of problems.
5 years ago, I bring a proposal to the board at that moment.
Yeah, it's like 100-some thousand or something.
It was $53,000 to remove every single tree,
Yeah.
and it was denied. Now, it's gonna be $150,000.
All right, maybe we look back
Wait.
into it.
But with what Chris said, the Hendry County bit their tongue when they wanted to improve Montura for improvements. One of the biggest things that if you go back into their original proposal years ago, it says that if we do any sidewalks, streetlights, or any improvements to our what we call high traffic areas, which is in front of the clubhouse, that they will partner on and help fund the project. Reason being is because now that we'll have the sidewalks where the swells would theoretically be, there'll have to be some adjustments or there's like some coding that will have to be changed. So with that being said, I think it's a great idea. I think it'll make Monterey look beautiful. And I know that there's a lot of big businesses right now, especially with improvement, that if you could put their name on it, they'll be for it. So whenever we get that proposal. Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, another thing that I want to bring up too is about the level 2 background checks that even with the employees that we have now, I think that we should still do it just so at least know who we have in here. I mean, we have to. It's our due, we should be doing our due diligence now. Whatever happened in the past that it wasn't done, the thing is, you know, moving forward, it's something that we should be doing so that at least we know who we have in here. So, you know,
Here's a theoretical. What happens if we have to fire half of them?
No, we don't say we have to fight it. We just wanna know the record.
So the thing is that we'd have two decisions. You know, both are going to be liabilities because I don't know if you could fire somebody because of that.
You can let them go.
Yeah, but then the thing is,
no fault.
if you have them and there's something terribly wrong with them, and then something does come out of it, then you know we're not doing our job is to keep the community safe. Because the last thing I want to hear is that we have somebody in here that shouldn't be in here. They can be great people. I know people change, but the thing is that people could still do bad stuff, and then if something bad does happen, they're gonna come back and say, well, y'all knew about it.
Yeah.
And then what are we gonna say?
Yeah. But I
We're
agree.
gonna say that Santana was against it.
That man more proactive for it.
Straight.
I just want,
Santana did not wanna do background checks. We
So-
did.
Okay.
But is that something I guess that I have to come up to a vote?
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Bring it up next agenda and see if we just do that for the employees that are here now.
All right.
Okay, so what's the thing for
For them to go through the level 2 background check.
Okay.
So just to where, cause since you're already doing it with the new guys, it's just,
But Chris,
No,
don't mention level
He's
2.
doing it with all the
It's
guys.
NCIC and FCIC. Don't mention level 2.
Yeah.
It's
cause some-
NCIC and FCIC. See, this
Go to
one
level
here,
2?
this is one
Same
over
thing,
here.
right? Okay.
This is bigger than that level 2. Chris, this is bigger than level 2. Right? Because
So-
you go through NCIC and FCIC.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if that, whatever you do to. for-
Whatever
for
you
the
have, your
clubhouse,
record comes out.
So what we do for the clubhouse, I don't know what was the conversation because I went to the bathroom, but what we do for the clubhouse is really simple. It's been done for as many years as I've been on Central County.
No, but Chris was talking about doing giving the record.
Yes.
All right. Let's.
FCIC and NCIC.
Okay, so what we do is we send the employees to a place on Beckley, which is a federal place. All they do is they have this electronic machine, which everybody that works on any school or any summer camps, anything that has to do with kids or public or anything like that, you go there, you put your fingers, and they'll send you a report.
Is that just for the state of Florida, or is
No,
that?
no.
No,
that's-
everywhere.
That's the two databases.
No, but
That's everything, that's even immigration. If you have
Federal, everything.
a deportation,
So it's a through and through, there ain't no getting around it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the fingerprint. Everything is integrated. When you get the fingerprints,
Okay.
Yeah, because what I was just saying is, even for the, since everybody's getting it now, even the older guys, your employees you have now, even just to have them through it, just to where at least now everybody's got
I
it.
thought they were
Well-
going through it.
I said it, yeah,
Yeah,
we put
everybody's
in
going
everybody
through
through it. It's just,
Oh, your new guys too?
Yes, no. Old guys, new
I mean,
guys.
I'm sorry, your
everybody.
older employees.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh, so everybody's been here for 5 years, they already did it?
Chris,
Okay.
yeah, because those guys, you said it, because those guys could be exposed at special events, the kids. He's doing everybody.
Oh, because I didn't know that they was already doing it with the older employees. I thought it was just the new ones.
No, he said it about 20 minutes ago, but yeah.
We're doing it with everybody.
For the upcoming Easter.
Everybody.
We're going through everybody.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
everybody's got it then.
Everybody.
Everybody.
So, what is the name of the place that you're doing the criminal background check?
All right, we're gonna. Let's move forward, Chris. You're
No,
gonna.
I wanna know, hey.
I'll give it to you
He'll get
later,
it.
because I don't.
All right, Chris. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, just one thing for the manager. Appaloosa and Riverside. There's a bunch of trees, like whenever you come with that stop sign, you can't even see it. It's a through road. And every,
It's already been recorded, we gotta go there.
oh, okay, yeah, 'cause every time I go through there, I get,
All right, done, Chris.
yeah, and then there's one more thing. With the raises. Yeah, I told you, I supported everything you did with that. The only thing like I told Becca was if whenever we have it on the agenda for us to talk about it and stuff, because I know that you brought it up to us and then we was trying to work on it and then, you know, you kicked it back and you took care of it. Just that whenever stuff like that happens, just to let us do what we have to do. And then, you know, it's just to where we don't get jumped over. It's just to keep that in line where it needs to be. But besides that, you know, I supported everything that you did, you know, and that I wish it would have happened before it came to the board, but you know, you came to the board, you talked to us, and
Well,
you figured.
the thing with that was, in reality, they didn't come to me. They come to me to say, well, we want to speak to the board. That's it. It was not like, oh, okay, let's go talk to the manager. They came to me just to let me know that they want to speak with you guys. That's it.
Okay, yeah, because I just know at the last meeting that we put a motion and everything in to talk about it, and then it wasn't on the agenda. And
You guys put a motion to do a workshop on that
Yeah, today.
today. Not to, there's a difference between the agenda and the workshop. It was on the agenda for the workshop, not for the regular meeting. That's what you guys decided.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that it wasn't on there because I called Becca and I told her to have it on there because it was not on there. It got
Right.
added after I called and I told her that it still has to be on there because, like I said, the office doesn't have the power to just say it's already resolved without us talking about it. I don't know if you
Well,
understand.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, be careful, because I don't think you want to, like, I hold him 100% responsible for salaries and doing it right.
Right.
Once you start putting yourself there, something doesn't go right, then you're responsible.
Yeah. So, but this is the only point I'm trying to make. Like I said,
Yeah,
I support it. When I sat down and spoke to him, I'm glad that he did what he did. The only thing that I'm saying is like, because Santana, he put in a motion to bring everybody up to 25, and it didn't go through.
25, 20, and 50.
Yeah, and then it didn't go through. And then Moreno kind of amended it, or he brought up his own motion to, we discussed it about, let's set it off and let's talk about this to make sure that we have money for it. We went into a lot of detail. And then that's why we were supposed to do the workshop today for it. And then we found out with Emilio that he took care of the problem. Not the problem, but what was going on. And then it's kind of like,
So you're saying the follow-through, you didn't see the follow-through.
No, what he means is that signs, it already went to the board, I should have waited for them to talk about it.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is, since it was an issue that the board was talking about,
well, we was
you
involved
would
in
have liked to have known about it.
Yeah, we were right.
Because, but normally, that's your
Yes.
responsibility.
Right.
Good or bad, if you mess it up, it's your responsibility.
Yes.
If you do good, great.
yeah.
But he's saying, since it was a live issue in front of the board, he would like to have
Big
been
resolve.
followed through.
Because we're the only one
But
that
let me ask
can
you
just
something.
wash it. Because it has to go through us for it to be resolved.
No.
No, not pay raises. You don't,
No, but the thing is that it was, okay.
but let me, for example, if he said, I'm gonna give everybody 5%, that has to go with it. That's different. That if he goes to individuals and say, Joey, you've been doing a great job, buddy. I'm gonna give you $1.50 an hour
Yeah,
raise.
that's what he's
Right.
saying, because we're going to bring the salaries up to the national standard,
All the salaries.
all of the salaries. So that's what Chris was
And I'm
saying.
not sure what happened, but I guess you brought some people up and not everybody.
Right.
Yeah, so my point is that it says workshop to go over hourly wages, Supervisor Moreno motion, second by self, 3 ayes, 1 nay. So the thing is that we were supposed to have that conversation.
Right, the follow-through, I got you.
Right,
Yeah.
and now, like, he has the discretion to put people up, where he thinks, but we spoke about that it's up to your discretion. You have the power to do that. So my only thing is that since it came up to the board, and it became this conversation, it's like, we started it, and then it's kind of like, it got resolved, and then it's kind of got pushed to the side. That's what I'm saying, is that we brought this up to be talked about at a workshop, and it wasn't.
Right.
And then that's why I asked the assistant manager, who took that off the workshop? Because it wasn't supposed to be on this, but I called today and then it got added to it. That's why it's here. So the only thing that I'm trying to say is that once stuff comes up to us and we decide to have a workshop and we're gonna work through this, we need to kind of go through it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, what he did with the raise and stuff, I'm perfectly fine with what he did. That's great. It's just, we gotta make sure that we do it, because we don't want people overstepping their boundaries, because if that could happen, then why are we here?
Well,
I don't know if you can understand.
I didn't. So what Santana was trying to do is to bring everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody,
That has to
$25 an hour.
I understand that.
Okay.
25, 20, and 15.
Yeah.
Right,
That would have to go to the board. That's a wholesale,
right.
that's different than him going to 2 guys or 4, whoever, I don't know, whoever you.
Right, and then it got shot down, but there's no other discussion about bringing people up individually. That's what the workshop was to do, to where we
Yeah,
can see what are we gonna do if we have the money for it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be very, to be more in depth involved in the board. That's really the only thing, it's like, this is kinda getting
Well, and
Been
by
out
the
of
way,
shape.
that's another thing, budget. So I also think when you do, because it's a huge budget item, salaries, do you include potential raises, promotions, or whatever in that budget? Because that should be built into the budget.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
As long as you're acting within the budget and dealing with individuals, that's your job, that's your responsibility, and that's what you're held accountable for.
Yes.
But that,
What Santana proposed was a wholesale
yeah, and
change.
that's what,
That has to
yeah,
be approved
that-
by you.
but
That
that's
can't be
what he-
implemented by.
I wasn't understanding what he was saying, but now I do. That's what he
His point was, hey, there was no follow-through. We had an issue that came before us. We voted on it. We voted to talk about it, and then it fell off.
Yeah, 'cause to make the cap, what's the max for this position? This is what you're, basically the national standard, we were gonna discuss what would be the cap for these positions, and then leave it up to him to make that decision.
You guys can still go through it, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You guys can still go through it to what Santana wanted it to do. I only did evaluations and raised some of the employees. But if you guys want to bring the clubhouse to a minimum of 1750, that's up to you guys.
Yeah.
That's what Santana was
Does a
proposing.
position, does each position or type of position have a salary range, a minimum, midpoint, and max?
And a lot of them are under the minimum.
But does Central County have that?
No, I'm
No,
talking
and
about.
I think that's what you were talking about,
You should,
creating
if we don't.
that.
So,
Standard.
so
That's same.
Central County used to have one
Uh-huh.
that goes back
Many years ago.
many years ago when I came to Central County, Cooking was doing a study about the salaries that you
Yeah.
guys was having and.
Yeah, they paid $5,000 to do the evaluation
Yeah,
for us, and then.
I had the study on the office,
Yeah.
and but never was ever done with that. The study was there, but they never got.
Did they-
Follow up.
When I met Chris, he was doing like $10 an hour. When Chris left, he was 13.50, 14, something like that.
14, something like that. It was.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it,
but.
it was.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is just, like I said, it says workshop to go over hourly wage. Cause that's what we agreed on and stuff. I just wanna make sure that it doesn't happen. because-
Yeah, and I think, still, if you're still interested, that's a legit issue for discussion.
Yeah, cause since he already took care of it, I mean, I think all
Well, he took
employees.
care of individuals.
No, I know that.
You guys can come in and say,
Set the cap.
hey, we wanna put
Right,
caps,
but,
a
okay.
minimum and a max for each
Yes,
position.
so this is what we need to understand, is that this had to be amended or put on what Becca did, cause that was not on there.
I get you.
So that's
with
what I'm
you.
saying.
I'm agreeing
And-
with you.
And so we need to make sure that, that stuff doesn't happen, is that whenever we're supposed to talk about something,
It's on the agenda.
we're gonna talk about it. And, if,
And by the way, again, my belief is that issue still hasn't been addressed. You weren't gonna talk about what Joey gets and what Billy
No.
gets.
Okay, but the
You were
reason-
gonna talk about pay grades, minimum, max, you still can talk
Okay.
about that.
so why was it not on the agenda then?
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you, because the manager took care, he did what he had to do with the employees, and that's why it was taken off, because if not, it would have been on there, correct?
No,
I still think there's another issue that needs
Okay,
to
so-
be discussed.
So when you guys was discussing on the last meeting,
Yes.
okay, you guys never get to any decision of what Santana was proposing.
Correct.
Right. So everything end up into, we're gonna come back at 6 p.m. for the next
Yes,
meeting.
Supervisor Moreno
Correct.
said that, yep.
Right. For a workshop.
Yep.
And that's on the workshop agenda. Right? Now, when you ask about it, in the beginning, I told you, you can
Add it,
add it.
but it was never on there. It should have been on
It
there.
wasn't supposed to. It's on the workshop agenda.
Mhm.
Not on the regular meeting agenda. That's why I told you on the beginning, when Daniel go through the meeting, you can jump on it and say, well, yes, I want to add salaries.
No,
Well,
that's
going
not
back
what
to- wait a
Chris-
minute,
no, that's
wait a
not what
minute.
Chris is saying, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Chris is saying that this was something that the board was supposed to discuss about increasing to national wages. So you increase the wages of certain individuals per their evaluation, but the board was still supposed to discuss about increasing it to the national wage.
Standard.
And Chris is saying that it was never adopted onto the agenda until you mentioned it. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, because we still had to go, because the motion that Santana put in didn't go. And then Supervisor Moreno agreed that we need to look into the finance, where we're at financially, if we have the money. You know, there's some talk about it, and then, so at the workshop, we're gonna talk about it.
Right.
But then what ended up happening in between there is that the manager gave raises to employees. And then now, for the workshop, it was never on there. So the only thing that can lead us to believe is that since the employees got their raises and stuff, there was no point, because they even asked Becky, and she said, well, they already got their thing, what is there to speak about?
Let me,
So that's why
And I think they're two different things.
No,
Yeah,
we're talking about two different things.
we got.
What I did,
Yeah.
what I did with the
Let's
employees,
move forward.
let me
there's
explain.
something apart from this.
I went through the evaluation, I evaluate all the employees, and I give them what they deserve. Now, you guys can still go and talk about
I
what
completely
Santana
understand
wanted to
that,
do,
right.
which is bring everybody from the clubhouse to 18 and study.
Okay, let's move forward.
You know, and stuff like that.
Yes, let's move
Which is
forward.
fine, you guys can still talk about it.
It's time out. I think it was a misunderstanding when what Chris is saying, when they put it on the workshop agenda, they put in employee salary. They should have put it in their employee, national.
Pay study or something.
A study like that. That's what mid-interpretation or miscommunication happened, that
Yeah.
they took it as what you did with the employee, now what we discussed to be worked out today, which is, you're right. They misspelled this employee salary, should it be, well, the national salary.
Yeah,
That should be
because
there.
originally it wasn't
I
on
agree.
there.
That's what I'm saying.
Because whenever I downloaded the PDF and I looked at it and I said, well, we're not gonna talk about this, and then I called Becca and I said, Becca, this is not on the workshop agenda.
Because misleading, what they did was
And then,
misleading.
well, it wasn't even on there. It's on there because if I wouldn't have called
I got
today,
it. Okay.
it would have never been on there.
Alright,
Right.
let's move forward.
And you're right.
Do you
Santana,
want
Scott,
to
we're gonna-
order for the next, regular meeting?
Let's move
It's still
forward.
a live
We're gonna
issue.
move forward. We're gonna move
That's what
forward.
you're saying.
Santana, do you have anything for your
Yes,
supervisor's
sir,
report?
I have.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna bring this, issue again, and I'll bring many times in the back. The, children in school balls, stuff. Okay. Now it's starting raining season, and I've been seeing the same thing I've been seeing all the time here in Honduras. Raining, thunders, and the children out there in the bus stops. Many of them, they don't have a shelter where to cover themselves when it's raining hard. Sometimes you can see one parent, two parents there with the kids, with the children, with an umbrella and getting wet and all that. I believe that we should make some shelters for those children to cover themselves whenever they're getting down from the buses, or whenever they are waiting for the buses to come up and pick them up. We somehow, we should do shelters for those children, for the school bus stops. That's my report for today. I think we should have a solution somehow. Talk to the private sector, talk to the county again, talk to whoever we have to talk about it, because that's important. And I've seen children coming by the side of the road soaking wet, and some of them, they're alone. They go back to the house, wherever they go, and they don't have a shelter. They stay there until it stops raining. So if we can figure out an idea how to make shelters for those children, would be great. So that's my report.
Hopefully, when we get this proposal, we can get some money out of that for those shelters, would be great. But anyhow, I
We're
wanted.
getting close, we're already
I know,
talking about
we are.
sidewalk on, the close,
I
so
know we are.
we're getting there, we're getting there.
I just, yes, we're talking about the background check back and forth. I got a question for you, Mr. Fumero, I'm an employee of the county, of the Central County, they put my background check, but now they're gonna do my background check, and I had a misdemeanor or felony, but I never disclosed that to my employee, which is Central County. How that would affect my employment with the Central County?
Is there something on the application that requires them to identify prior convictions?
In 7 years.
Okay. If they had a prior conviction in the
I'm
last.
talking about since I started 2 years ago, and 6 months ago I had this felony in my record, and I didn't disclose that to my employer.
Oh,
And now,
after you get
after I got hired, and now they did a level 3 or 4, whatever they're saying is, what's gonna happen with that employee or myself?
Oh,
when
you're
they
talking
discover
about
that?
after they were
After they
hired?
get hired.
Oh, after.
After we get hired, so what Central County has in place, or what the legal ramification for that, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at the employee handbook, but I
Yeah.
could swear we have something in there about that.
I'll look for it. You're talking about.
They're supposed to disclose,
Disclose it.
disclose it.
Yeah, because at our company, we actually had that same incident, because me and my dad share the same name. My dad has a criminal record. So when they did the fingerprinting, his record came back as me. And then when they clarified, they said, well, this is Junior, the date of birth is different from the father. They were gonna terminate me because of his record. And I'm like, I don't even drink and drive, you know? So that was something that I could have sued them for, because I was gonna be terminated falsely for information that was incorrect. So now that's
In this case, different now.
Yeah,
I encourage.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look, because I'm pretty sure there's something in the handbook that says if you've been convicted of a crime, it's gotta be more than a misdemeanor, you have to disclose it.
Yeah, because if you're working here, and let's say you have an issue, let's say you get arrested for something.
Whatever it is, you know.
I don't know if it's-
Not
that's the
arrested,
Huh?
convicted. You-
No, I know, because it's happened here before. And if you get arrested, you're supposed to let your employer know, and this is not on paper, but this is the way they used to do it back then. You know, what I mean, and it's maybe we have to look at the handbook to make sure this stuff is in place. But, so if you get in trouble, you're supposed to let your employer know, because you're gonna be missing days for court, and, you know, there's stuff that's gonna happen
Yeah.
to you, you know, that you should tell your employer. Now, if you're convicted, depending on the crime, if it's a felony, you're out of here.
Right, and like, let me give you an example, because we have a lot of equipment operators licensed. If you get a DUI,
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah,
directly
yeah.
impacts your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has, you have to, and if you were smart as an employee, you would say, hey, Emilio, I got this situation
Yeah.
here, I may not be able to,
And that's one of the issues, because quite a few years back, they had an employee that worked here as a mechanic, and he actually had a pass device on his personal vehicle to drive, but he was driving Central County's mechanic truck. And the thing is that for him to operate any vehicle, he has to blow into his personal pass device in Central County. I don't know, they should have been aware, but, and then what ended up happening is that he becomes a liability because he had to carry a HR 22 insurance. And then the thing is that then the insurance here has to cover him. And then what ended up happening, there's enough pressure they got put on me. And that's why I always bring up this stuff about this, because there's been convicted
remember,
felons.
DUI's a first or second DUI is not a felony. So we have to write it, by the way, I agree with you.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that the
Handbook.
the employee handbook captures not just felonies, but any conviction that affects your ability to carry out your duties as an employee,
Yeah.
whatever that may be.
Yeah, because Central County, they had one guy that he had he could never get a driver's license, and he worked here. They hired to convict him.
That's like 5 DUIs, I think, is what
Well,
it is.
he never, some way he got his license back and he was fishing. And and this is how Central County worked it back then whenever my manager was here, that since he was running tractors, you didn't have to have a license, because it's under ag. That's how they got past that,
Oh, no.
because he's running a tractor, that's how they did it. Now, how he came back and forth from work was his problem, because he doesn't have a license, but as long as he's inside of a tractor, you don't have to have a license.
So
No,
let's
not
look
our
at that.
Basically,
No,
well,
but-
basically, if you don't have a driver's license, you don't work with us.
Well, no, not with, I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about prior, so I'm just, what I'm trying to do is go down the list, you know, and then they had a convicted felon that was,
Yeah.
hired here, he assaulted a community member, so it's like, this is the one thing that I've always been very keen on, because this is something that has been repetitive many times.
Well, what about if you're a drug dealer,
Alright,
you
okay.
have a record of drug dealer, and you are selling drugs all over Montour,
Alright,
in Central County?
okay, is that,
Let me say something else to the board here. And Chris, you know a lot about this, I mean, on this arena, you know, because being here before. What I suggest to the entire board is, let's move forward. Forget about the past. Past already gone. Let's move forward with a new board, with a new employee, with a new manager. Not you, because I've been here for a while. You know, let's put that forward. Let's use energy and effort and time to grow this place.
We're not going back, we're in the present.
No, I said.
So we want to correct things
That's
that
not
were
placed
not
here.
being done right, and we want to correct it and do it right.
Yeah. Mr. Moreno, have you
Because,
ever read the employee handbook?
What's that?
Have you read the employee handbook?
I haven't seen it.
Get one. So this is why I bring these things up, because,
We want
believe me,
So we need to
I've-
fix it.
I've-
That's nothing we're saying, we need to fix the handbook.
That's what we're doing.
Correct, that's what I said, and then by you knowing, so by what I'm telling you, it gives you a better insight what needs to be looked at, because there's a lot of stuff that, because see, I don't even know if in the handbook, if it even says if you're a convicted felon, you can't even work here. I don't even know if it says
Right,
that.
and that's why we said,
We're
it's a
gonna
good
revise it,
point,
yeah.
and we're gonna go.
Yeah.
over it.
That's why we need to,
Back.
you know,
But we
that's
are
why in the
depressed,
past,
we're
we need to
going
bring it up,
No,
because
I
there's a lot of
understand,
stuff.
I understand.
We are in the present, we're doing things right.
Guys,
let me finish, go ahead.
Or remember, I understand that loud and clear. What I'm saying is, let's get that cloud, that, you know, dark cloud from the past out, fix what we got now and move forward. That's
That's what
what we
we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Is that the end of your report?
Thank you.
Alright, since that's it, can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Santana, can I have a second?
Thank you.
Second by me, Sharon, thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, everybody.
10 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
That's good.
2 hours.
That's getting close to a record.
No, I beat the record.
You did
I
set
beat
the
the
record.
record.
You did officially set the record.
This one we did good, we were 7 minutes over. Oh.